Today's show is also brought to you by Organifi. Organifi is an organic superfood supplement line that makes quality, trusted nutrition convenient and accessible. Their most popular product, green juice, solves the problem of juicing greens on the go. Just add water, drink, and let your body soak up the benefits. Visit Organifi.com, that's Organifi.com, to learn more about an exciting offer for you, our podcast listeners. And now to today's show.
I wake up every single day, I am who I say I am, and I get what I get because I live in beast mode. Stop being gazelles. You're not average. You're not even good. You were born to be great.
What's going on, world? Welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm your host, CJ, joined as always by the Bayesian sensation, Mr. Carl Wesley Phillips.
What's going on?
Dr. Douglas Thomas.
Baby, it's cold outside. That's real.
Man, and my man, you guys know him. He needs no introduction now.
No
He's our
intro.
resident health guru, Sean Stevenson. Sean, what's going on, man?
What's up, guys?
Good to have you on the podcast and live and in person this time.
Yeah,
You
man.
know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
sir.
Never lie.
So the contrast, you can see how chunky we are for real. We got a fit person
Off
up
the
here.
podcast.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
When it was
Enjoying
just me
life.
and E, you couldn't tell like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe they in shape. But now you can see what
What
it
shape look like.
Looks like. Sean, man, what's going on? How you doing, man?
Oh man, just blessed. Very grateful to be here with you guys. Minus the cold.
Yeah, no,
This
no,
cold
no.
is a
Minus
different
the
kind of
cold.
cold.
No, it's a different kind of cold. I think it's -4 right now. So
yeah, it's -4 with an aggression though.
yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
aggressive.
that's the aggression.
It is
With
aggressive.
the
If-
ignorance.
Aggression.
If you go outside without chapstick, you
It's
will
on.
be bleeding.
It's on.
In no time. So no,
yeah, all
it's
it
bad.
is.
No, he said this was the worst it's been since he's lived in Michigan. So that is most of your adult life and your formative years as well. So no, it is cold, but we're back, man. I want to know, quick update, just how was everybody's Christmas? I know we all got, younger shorties, so that was an experience. E can
I
tell.
ain't had no Christmas. Everybody grown. we had spaghetti for Christmas. So
But I am mad at E because he let me take off to Detroit and find out that the roads were terrible.
A snowstorm.
And then he called me, how the roads? All right, cool, I ain't coming. So I'm like, E, you got
Christopher
your boy.
Columbus, he went before me. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what I'm saying? So no.
I was shocked. See, people they did dinner like at
Oh, 1
1
o'clock.
o'clock. And
1 o'clock.
my people didn't start till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was like, see, he was like, he don't come.
Yeah,
so of
no,
course
it
my
was
mom
bad.
was like, my mom went off. I cooked out. I can't believe all this food. I was like, do you want to see me for the new year?
Right.
For the new year.
No, it was bad.
I can't
No, it
do
was cars and
And I'm
ditches.
saying if it's bad for Michigan, bro, I ain't never heard it. It ain't never been so bad on Christmas.
That's not the
that I
whole
couldn't go
day.
out.
But you know what's funny though? He was like, he still, it's your mom, so you still felt bad he couldn't come. So I was sending them videos of like cars and ditches and
question.
turned over and fire trucks. He like, see, let me get another one of them fire trucks.
I need another
He said,
fire
mom
truck.
don't believe
Oh,
me.
no question.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I sent
So
it to my
I'm sending them
sister.
joints.
I wouldn't send it to my mom because my mom would
okay.
be whatever. I sent it to my sister, and my sister can relay
Yeah.
the message to my mom.
So, Sean, Christmas, how was it, my man?
Oh man, it was great. I love the pre-Christmas. Like we get this little tradition. Got my little man. We get the pajamas. We watch Home Alone. What's your top holiday movie?
Oh, Home Alone all day.
Yeah, I'm a Home
Yeah, I'm a
Alone
Home
guy
Alone,
for
yeah.
sure.
Home Alone
Except
1,
for
first one.
You don't realize that they cuss. Because I let Trey watch it like 3 times. And he came to me talking about, I wouldn't let you sleep in my bed if you were growing on my hand. I was like, no. He was like, what, Daddy? I was like, oh my God. I was like,
right
please
up.
don't ever say that again. So you forget that there's like, stuff, but Home Alone, I would say Home Alone. You know what? I love The Grinch. Jim Carrey and The Grinch. It is hilarious. And, you like, all the traditional stuff, you know what I mean? It's some, Frosty, Rudolph, man, you watch those things around that time, it's just nothing like it.
Yeah, enjoy it. I promise you, because once they get grown and gone, it's just. I think we watched one together. We did The Grinch, but Didi and I watched, of course, Charlie Brown. Christmas Story. But we didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they're grown, and it's weird. You put so much into it when they're kids, and you think it's always going to be like this. And then once they become adults, it's like, I promise you, we didn't put up a Christmas tree. We didn't have no stuff in stocks. We didn't have no wreath. We didn't have no lights. We didn't do nothing. Like, they grown. So we were just like, we're not doing nothing this year. So the last 2 or 3 years, I think, it's been like, shoot, we probably need to adopt during the holidays. So
Did you get Diddy
Savannah's big? I did, but we don't really, y'all know, this is weird. I know, people be tripping, but I don't do holidays. Like, I'm the dude that believes in spoiling people while they're alive. So if you with me, you rolling with me, hanging with me, I'm doing stuff throughout the year. Like, I don't really get caught up on that particular day, so
maybe January 5th, I could expect my gift.
I don't know about January 5th.
I just want to know when.
I don't know about January
this
5th. When we go on a cruise or something together, I got you, but I don't know about January 5th.
Yeah, no, Carl, what did
So my wife, she got herself a gift. Let me put it like
good.
that. She got herself a gift. Like, she just literally looked at the temperature, looked at the trajectory of these temperatures and says, we're going to Barbados.
Oh, well.
So she literally booked some flights. And I was just like, look, I'll be honest, it ain't no great time to do it.
My wife just hit my eye contact over there.
I'm sorry, Sean.
Like,
I'm sorry.
She ready, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Africa.
I'm sorry, but
Let's go.
so we literally got a trip that she planned toward the end of January.
Oh,
so
nice.
the Christmas gift will be just getting away from the -4 for a couple days.
Oh, it might be worse than that in January.
If we hear now.
Sean, now you can't lie because your wife is present in the
she
building.
hit I felt the glance hit my face.
What was the gift? Did y'all do the big
got,
gift exchange? Or?
Yeah. I mean, we keep it pretty simple, but I've been keeping an eye on her subliminals. So I got her that Gucci. Purse.
Okay, there it is.
You see my son right there with those headphones.
Okay, yeah.
And he's been harassing me for like 3 years to get some beats.
But my son had beats and then was like, Dad, I hate these. Let me get the Spider-Man joints. They was like $30. I was like, Bet, let's go.
You're not worthy of that yet. See my little man right there, he got the Captain America.
Yeah, there you go. Same joints. Look, he not even tripping. He love it. You ain't want the Captain America ones, Jordan? Come on, bro. You think I had the Captain. You don't think the ladies digging the Captain America at 17? You know
what, Cito? I got to give my daughter, man, pub. My daughter's one of those individuals, man. She just like a family person. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jada is stupid in tune with, what's going on. And like I said, I ain't planning on getting my wife, nothing. And I don't mean it bad, but I just bought her $20,000 couch, so I ain't really tripping. That was about a month ago. So I ain't really tripping on the actual day. But my daughter was like, Dad, she want that, I guess it's a remote control vacuum. And it just, it's like a little robot boy.
Yeah, that Jada or Diddy?
Diddy wanted it. So Jada got that
because you won't vacuum enough?
Okay.
I don't know, there's nothing to vacuum. You know what I'm saying? She took away my love. You know what I'm saying? I got a little something I do, but this joker, maybe I wouldn't. But
just running around your house.
I don't get it though. I'm like, it ain't
like
even
having a pet.
Yeah, we got wood now.
Feed it.
We got wood floors, but it's a little toy she wanted. So Jada got that, and of course Jada, when we were in Houston, we were in like the Galleria Mall, so it's everything in there. So Jada would send me pics like, she want these boots. She want this perfume set. So I'm not gonna lie, act like I bought my wife nothing. I followed my daughter's instructions and just got what my daughter sent. But my daughter was right on. And they got me, believe it or not, a book bag. That may sound, something small, but my son, I was rocking his book bag, and of course he wanted it back. When he saw me, like, he never even knew the bag was down here, Sean. He never knew the bag was down here. I started rocking and making it sweet, on Instagram, and he like, oh, Dad, I've been looking for that. I was like, when were you looking for it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the last trip, he was like, yo, let me get that bag, and then he gave me his Louis bag. I'm like, first of all, I bought you this, so I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing with it. And then my daughter, she took me with her. She's so smooth. She literally took me with her. It was like, I gotta take my books back, my old books, because they rent books in college now, and they return them. And so she's like, so I saw the book bag in there. I was like, oh, that's sweet. You got some books in the book bag. You know what I'm saying? She was like, yep. And then Christmas Eve, I was like, man, how much was that book bag? I want to get one. She was like, Dad, just relax. We can get one after Christmas. And she got me that for Christmas. So
what about Jada? Because it was hilarious. He preached this weekend. It had me dying. He was talking about, somebody asked me, what you getting your kids for Christmas? I looked right up and said, college.
Right. College.
Yeah.
$1,000.
So did but you did get
my wife did. Yeah. My wife
I saw quite a few dollar bills on the toilet paper.
Oh, my wife, they so, like I said, they pretty sweet with it. They ain't really into it, but my wife bought her for Christmas. My daughter must have said something about she want a wrap or something, use money as tissue or something. So my wife literally put, I don't know how much money it was, but I never counted it, but it looked like it was a grip.
Yeah,
it looked like it was a
more than
grip
couple
on there.
dollars.
And she made like toilet tissue full of money on a roll. Like, so she made her a toilet tissue. So she went to the bathroom and said, remember you said you wanted it, and pull that suck out. I was like, wow, okay, pretty. I just guess I got to keep going out here grinding. You know what I'm saying? But she got her clothes. Like, my daughter's really into free people. Like, that's her, like, whatever designer that is. Like, Jada really loves free people. So mom got her a jacket, some clothes, and then that tissue. I got to go. I do have they put it up on Insta, so I'm going to count it. See, I never counted it, but I'm going to look and count. So whoever the dude is that want to marry her, he going to have to come with it.
Now, my son looked at me and said, like, honest conversation, like, he put me aside, like, Daddy, why everybody keep getting me clothes for Christmas? Like, what's up with the toys?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, my man, he like, I don't need no clothes.
It's a weird time to try to, discuss these type of things. Like, I was trying to teach Trey empathy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
so it was funny because we've been doing the Santa thing. It's like, yo, if you good, you get presents. If you bad, you don't get presents. So he's like, all right, cool. But then a couple weeks later, I was trying to teach him the empathy thing. So I was like, yo, his mom was like, you're gonna go downstairs in preparation for Christmas, get toys that you don't need anymore, and we're gonna give them away. And then also we adopt the family every year and we go buy them stuff. And so we were practicing the empathy thing and we're bringing him up, and he's like, Dad, so why are we doing this? And I was like, because there's kids that don't get, I'm trying to explain, like, how do you explain, like, they don't have the resources, to get the toys and stuff like that. So he was like, so they don't get anything? And he was like, but you just said they don't get anything if they bad. So why are we giving them toys if Santa not bringing them nothing?
Right.
We should probably leave it like that. We interfering with
Santa.
right.
We messing Santa's swag up.
So Candace was quick on her feet and said, but they don't have a house, so Santa can't come down the chimney.
There you go, Candace.
Nice.
So we try to connect the dots, right? So, it's been a different season, but, just trying to teach our kids, like, you've been blessed. You got a lot. And, I think I told you guys one time before, but even for me, poverty exists. And Candace's family, back when they lived in Detroit, would do, we would adopt a family that, we just, took care of all the kids, whatever. And you don't know them, it's just a blind kind of thing or whatever. But Candace's family will go down to the shelter on Christmas morning. And I had never done that before. And we went down to the shelter on Christmas morning, changed my life. I think I told y'all about it, but there were kids, Sean, who I'm talking about take one little Hot Wheel, like a 50-cent Hot Wheel, and they would wrap it up and stuff. And you seen these kids, like all of them got one gift apiece, and they got it. And I'm talking about, you would have thought the world was ended. They were like, oh my God, running around, 5, 6, 7-year-olds running around with one little cheap
Meanwhile, Jada got
Hot
a toilet
Wheel.
roll full of
Right. No, and I'm
Benjamins.
saying, and I never want my son to feel like, lose that
that
connection
is
to
just,
that.
yeah.
Like, and so, he's only 3, he'll be 4 next week, but it is something that you try to be conscious of. You try to, keep your kids conscious of, like, yo, you blessed. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't the norm for everybody. And so it's
I think it's just intention on your part as a parent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It will help to, of course, the environment will instill it. Like my youngest son over there, he is the most kind of emotionally intelligent kid I've ever seen, but it was an intention. Like he has to make sure everybody's good.
Yeah.
Like he'll come over if me and my wife is like the energy ain't right. He'd be like, Daddy, say sorry to Mama. And then my oldest son, man, just like there's also maturity that goes along with this whole gift giving thing. He switched over this year because he actually was building up his bank to get a car because we had this deal. He get the 3.0, save $1,000. I'll triple or quadruple it, get you a car.
Yep.
And he was like, Dad, I'm good. I'll get a car a little bit later. I want to get people gifts.
No question.
And I was like, wow. I didn't say it out loud. Now, he's right there now, but I was really impressed by that.
Jordan,
He's right there now. Can you okay. I just say, I want the audience to know he's really there right now.
Oh, no, come on over here. Come say. This is a
we don't like
kid too, by the way, Sean. Come on over here, man. Just come wave to. You got, maybe some young ladies out in Facebook Live land that
be careful because there might be some lady in St. Louis that
not
interested in the ladies on Facebook Live. You know what I'm saying? Let's not mess him up.
Yeah.
Here he is, y'all. We just want you to see him.
Yeah.
Right here.
Young football star, you know what I'm saying? So
you got to back up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure they see.
There you go. Yeah, right
Facebook
there.
Live now.
Like father, like son. Look at it. In shape, the whole nine. So, I appreciate it, Jordan. So yeah, man, it's it's that time of year, man, and you try to raise your kids up to be, empathetic, to be giving, to do for others, and which is why I don't like going overboard for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I guess it's that fine line, because it's like, man, you work hard, you want your kids to have things, but in the spirit of what you just said, man, your kids understanding that it is a time of giving, and it is better to give than to receive, and that's a lesson.
Yeah, and I'm saying I pray for y'all. It's harder for y'all. I look at Jalen and I think, Jalen is blessed in that he spent some time in poverty. You know what I'm saying? Like, this hadn't always been his life.
I don't know if he ever knew he was in poverty.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, it's like a 2-year-old, 3-year-old. Like, they know more than what you think, you know what I'm saying, they know.
Tell us one of them stories about how, he tells us the poor stories, they get worse every time.
I'm just saying, and Sean, and what it is for real, C especially has been, both of them have been blessed. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, for real. I was telling, I was giving a testimony the other day, man. I was like, yo, I remember when my mother-in-law, she wasn't really fond of us getting married at 19. I mean, you got to remember, we got married at 19 years old. Yeah. Imagine what kind of bread you got at 19. And my mother-in-law, man, the presence of mind, like, I just couldn't stand her. But I look at her now, I remember she used to come, and every time she visit, she'd bring canned goods. And that would be our food sometimes. Like, she would bring cream-style corn, sweet peas. I don't eat sweet peas no more, or cream-style corn. She'd bring the pinto beans in the can, and that would be our meal. You know what I'm saying? I think back, like, I couldn't stand her, but I was like, yo, and who does canned goods anymore? Like, everybody on organic stuff. But like, Jalen was alive, during our transition. Like, we lived and his mom said it the other day, because he called like, I don't want to live in my apartment. It's got this, and that. His mom was like, oh, for real? We were in roach infested apartment at that time, and we did I don't know, Sean, how far you go back, but we had to do the boric acid, where you put the sugar and the boric acid around
the whole house.
In the whole house for for the rodents, right? And so Jalen had that experience. Jada didn't really have it. When Jada was born, she was born in March. We moved into our first home, praise God, and it was a nice house. When she was about maybe 4 or 5 months. So her whole life, she's kind of been around money, you know what I'm saying? But she's not, believe it or not, I don't know if it's because she's a girl, I'm not gonna do the gender thing, but she's not like, gimme, you know what I'm saying? But Jalen understands, even though he might try to ball out, he is, like you said, a kid who is concerned about, others, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, for y'all though, I just like, wow, it's gotta be tough. Because y'all kids coming into 6 figures, you know what I'm saying? Like, they born with their own. Jalen and Jada, literally, we lived in an apartment, and she knows what is Briarcliff. Like, Briarcliff ain't no, you know what I'm saying? That ain't no necessarily whatever. We lived there for maybe about 3 or 4 years, and they shared a room. You know what I'm saying? So for 3 or 4 years of their life, they shared they were in the same bed and had a little small space together. So you know what I'm saying? They weren't teenagers, but like, Jada was in kindergarten. Jalen was in the 3rd grade. So when you with your sister for 4 years, you get your own room, it's like, oh, I got my own room when we moved here. So I'm just looking at their kids, they starting off, you know what I'm saying, pretty much with a nice house, nice vehicles, you know what I'm saying? And you do teach them, but it's like, still, you could teach them, but they're still getting their own experience by having their own stuff.
I'm about to tell my mom to bring us some cream corn. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to eat out the cream corn.
What makes it worse for both of us is that our kids' Christmas and birthdays is a week apart.
Sure.
So that's
and
back
Trey
to back.
is well aware that he
Jordan
gets 2
is
sets
well
of gifts.
aware. Well aware. And then on these clowns, these are the ones that buy my kids the most stuff. So they ain't helping. You ain't helping the problem.
We on the other side now. We ain't having what our kids were. We got it now. So it's like, all right, let's just spread the wealth. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is, man.
They flying. His son flying at.
Trey, I think Trey might be silver medallion.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's real. Jordan jumped on a plane to London when he was 6 weeks old. Yeah. That's when we first went to London, 6 weeks.
Amazing,
I didn't take my son, seriously, probably close to silver medallion. I didn't take the second flight of my life until I met E at 22.
Yeah, hey, my wife took me on my first flight. I was 25 years old. Yeah. I was in my bubble in St. Louis. And, when I grew up, man, I had 2 very different environments. I lived with my grandma early on, best environment, you know, safety, comfort. She made a big deal out of holidays. Then when I moved in with my mom, I mean, you know, roaches and rats, and you know, we would get gifts from this. It's called the Hosea House.
Yeah,
they give for underprivileged kids. I even went on a poor kids field trip. Rode in the Wienermobile, you know, I thought it was a bomb, but
it was.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Each
mobile
year,
swimming pool. It was a bomb.
Each year we get the same presents. The Yahtzee. So we end up playing craps with the, you know, and the Uno cards. But I have that. I have that experience, and I've shared it with my son. And he's, you know, when he came along, you know, I was in college still. I had a 1-bedroom apartment, and he has an older sister. And so both of them be sleep on the air mattress, you know what I'm saying, either in my bedroom or in the other bedroom. And you know, he's little Peter bad, you know, get his sister wet. But
bring it back to the bring it back in the camp.
Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack. We just bigged you up. Now
Jay say he don't even know nothing about that. Jay don't even remember that. You know what I'm saying? That was way back in the day, BC.
So he's been there through the evolution, and that's why I really know, you know, he has a lot of gratitude and just perspective about
absolutely.
it. You know, so.
Yeah, and I think you can get it though without, because I try to explain to people, poverty don't necessarily, you know, create wealth. You know what I'm saying? No. It don't necessarily create. So it's not like, because I look at my grandma, you know, no disrespect, you know, grandma might be listening, my mom is listening, but my grandma did, you know, the projects. And then my aunts and uncles did the project. You know what I'm saying? Like it was generational. You know what I'm saying? My mom and one of my other aunts probably were like the first to get out. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, my grandma, you know, my grandma did Herman Gardens and did it nice. You know what I'm saying? And so it don't mean because you grow up in poverty that the next generation is just gonna be like, oh, rats, roaches, whatever, wealth. And it don't mean because our kids see wealth that they're gonna, you know, become wealthy as well. But I do believe what we're doing is important. We at least want to talk about it and try our hardest to give them the lessons. But I heard my boy Shannon say something deep the other day. He was like, yo, E, with your children, bruh, you could do all the practicing, go over the playbook, watch all the film, but until they get tackled, it ain't football. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't football, bro, until you say hi and somebody bust your butt, and then you realize, whoa, this football. So it's like you can teach them all you want,
Tyson
but until
said
they get out,
got a plan until they get hit.
So we could teach our kids, but once they get out there on their own, they have to have their own experiences, you know, and then they realize like, oh, I see why they, because my mom was saying some stuff, bro, I promise you, like, what are you saying? But now I'm like, praise
you find
God,
yourself saying the same stuff.
I'm doing it, bro. I'm doing it.
It's just a theory. It's a theory until you actually get that exposure.
I want to talk about something that happened about 2 days ago, a day or two ago. We got my man James Harrison. Now, for those of you listening who don't know James Harrison, he is a former Pittsburgh Steeler. He played with the Steelers for I don't know how many years, but they won Super Bowl.
And joked me 2 years ago. He joked.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you were with the Steelers. Of course.
He was joking me.
Well, my man, and for those of you who not sports, I think we've been doing a good job of staying off sports too. Sean, we used to get yelled at because we would turn this into PTI, and we would get some writers like, we don't know sports like that. So anyway, long story short, James Harrison plays for the Steelers forever. He's on the end of his career. He's 39 years old, and he leaves. Well, we initially heard that he was cut by the Steelers.
Right.
And so everybody's like, wow, that's weird. Like, I thought it at the time, I was telling y'all, I'm like, yo, it's weird that you would cut like a legend. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like right before the playoffs. It don't really make sense. And so whatever happens, they release him. He goes and signs with the Patriots. So
Makes
for
sense.
Those of y'all, again, who don't know sports.
Division rival.
Yeah, you go and sign with your rival. So he leaves and goes and signs with his rival, and then it comes out yesterday from his teammates that he wanted to leave, and then he went and signed with the Patriots. I have a huge problem with this. You have ruined your entire legacy. Now, even if you went and signed with somebody else in the NFC somewhere, you went and signed with a rival who you just had.
What does that mean, ruin? Explain what would have happened if I would have stayed? I mean, what would have happened if I'd have gone with the Lions?
No. Okay, so
You know what I'm saying? The Lions would have picked me up. Would I have preserved my legacy if I'd have stayed with the Lions?
It got personal.
I was just having a good day. No. Seriously,
I'm just saying. You know what I'm
I was
saying?
just having a good day. You just like for real.
Are the Lions mathematically out? Is that what's going on with you? Are they mathematically out? If they
Lions-
win and everybody else in the division lose,
Are you
do they
talking
have
about
a
this
chance?
Let me
year
tell you
or
something.
in general?
All other 31 teams could die. The Lions still wouldn't make the playoffs. I mean, they could just cancel the season for all other 31 teams.
And they wouldn't make
We'll
it.
find a way to lose.
Still wouldn't get to the Super
Unbelievable.
Bowl.
I swear, you talk about lovable losers. But I have a problem with you leaving and signing with the Rock. Like, and now you got to go play against them because they're the two best teams probably
Absolutely.
on that side. They're going to
Absolutely.
play against each other. Now you over there giving them all this. I just feel like, yo, you ruined your legacy. Like, you think about it. You want to be able to come
What
back.
legacy though? What's the legacy?
I mean, you won Super Bowls there. You're beloved. Everybody in the city rocks with you. So now, because you did this, 10 years from now, when you're supposed to be sitting in the skybox, coming on the field, waving everybody, you've sullied your whole
Well,
reputation.
maybe you'll
in the
do it with
city.
the Patriots. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
If
promise you, the Patriots ain't getting ready to do you like that because they don't have that
yeah.
love for you because you
Right,
ain't grew up there. So I don't know about y'all, but I just smell treason. I smell all kind of things just
From
going wrong.
Belichick or from
No, Belichick did the right thing because basically now you have
You
a,
were saying that yesterday.
not even just psychologically, like my man know all they plays. He know every call. I mean, not that, you don't know scouting and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure he could add some depth on, who's hurt, who's, you know what I'm saying? Like just different things that you try to keep, to get that competitive edge. But I'm just like, man, I got a lot of respect for James Harrison. He's a machine in the weight room, as I'm sure you know. But man, talk to me, bro.
Hey, I'm back with the LeVar Ball. You know what I'm saying? I'm back. Somebody was like, I can't believe you. You wouldn't do that. We're not talking about what I would do. We talking about the culture in which we live in. And I hate to say this, but we live in a culture right now that's about self. Like that whole village thing, that's out the window, bro. Ain't nobody on village. Nobody's on legacy. It's a lot of ego. It's about me. I got to get what I got to get, So what you're talking about, bro, when I was growing up, Tony Dorsett bet not lead the Cowboys. Roger Staubach would never play with nobody. But then you had that situation with Pandora's Box. You had, what's my man, KG, and then you had
LeBron.
What's Jesus Shuttleworth. You know what I'm saying? They went to Boston and started that whole, leave and build a dynasty type deal. And so people now are about getting that ring. So at what point does it stop? So when they did it, everybody was like, I can't believe they coming together. And then they won a championship. Then LeBron does it. Then KD does it. Like, it ain't going to stop. Like, this generation is about, no disrespect, I'm not saying they're wrong for it, but this generation is a different generation, and they're about what's in my best interest. And so he's looking at it as, they didn't let me play. He's not going to take the L for the team and say, you know what? It's not best for me to play. You know what I'm saying? I probably shouldn't play. Let me just ride the bench and celebrate and pub up my team, which is why shout out to D-Wade. I'm feeling D-Wade for the whole, when LeBron came taking the 2 spot instead of, you know what I'm saying? And then now they put my man on the bench. He coming off the bench. But the D-Wades of the world is gone. And my man is like, I get a chance for one more Super Bowl. I get a chance to shine.
You don't have a chance with the Super Bowl with your own team that you're currently with?
I don't know if you feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm just saying, they just lost at the goal line.
Yeah,
they got
did.
cheated on the call. Yeah. I'm just saying, like,
cheated on, I love it. Cheated on, I love
can't stand
it.
the
I love it. I'm just saying.
How about the Lions? The Lions, bro.
Cheated on. Lions got cheated on twice too.
No,
they got cheated on. They just was on the other end of the
cheated on. You got a gripe too, because your Rams left.
And
now they sweet.
He'll bring this up.
Yeah, so
right.
Misery loves company.
You talk about
Misery loves company.
You talk about not liking the Patriots.
Oh yeah,
like they beat us in the Super Bowl, and that changed the course of that dynasty.
That did.
So do y'all hate the Rams now, or like do you still cheer for them?
You gotta love.
I just choose to be indifferent. Just like I love you, but I let you go. So, but it's basically
can I get it?
It's basically the same team, that's winning right now.
It's the exact same team.
They brought in a different coach.
Yeah, and that's what they should have done.
That's what the problem.
They should have just brought y'all a new coach.
They just stuck with Jeff Fisher for so long for just an idea that he's a good coach, but he just really wasn't.
Wayne Fonts.
Lions.
Wayne Fonts.
Yo, yeah, no. All right, let's move on because I can't.
But I do want to say this though. Can we talk about Belichick at least, bro? You know what I'm saying? Just okay, call it cheating, whatever they, their rules in football. But the thing that I respect most about that organization, the head coach, the quarterback, and the owner, bro, they all on the same when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. They all three. And I think for those of you who are listening, you got to try to find a team where on every level, I've had conversations with people in the last week, and I'm like, how you get, okay, y'all may not have gotten here before, but you know how you get past angry? Like you just past angry, like you just numb. It's like, I listen to people talk and I'm like, yo, bro, if you don't want to take care of your family, like who gonna take, I am amazed at the level of, or the lack of energy people have about their own personal life. Like this your life, these your lights. You know what I'm saying? Like this food on your table, I'm just clueless. And when I look at, I was fortunate enough to be at the Super Bowl last year. That's the thing that hit me more than anything. The owner came down, what he said, Belichick came, what he said, Brady, what he said, and I was like, yo, this is phenomenal. All three levels, they all want this thing as bad as they want to breathe, and as a result of it, this is the 8th year where they found themselves being able to possibly win a Super Bowl, winning the AFC, title, and I'm just like, yo, I can't even name they running back. I can't name they wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? I can't.
That's
maybe
how
the,
sweet the system
the
is.
tight end, like you said, I can't name.
Oh, you can name the tight end Gronk now.
But I'm saying, well, he's the only one that's been there for 8 years as well, I think. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else, he's been there 8 years. Nobody else, I can't really name it. Whereas if you say like another team, you could say
Steelers.
You could count
AB,
been there, Bell's been there, Big Ben. Yeah, so I'm just saying, man, for me, that was the thing that hit me, is like this dude is willing to do whatever it takes not to lose. He's willing. It always reminds me of what you say.
In order to have that success, you have to push that line?
I think.
And have you ever had to push the line in your own career?
Yeah, I think that you have to push the line in that all egos are gone and everybody want it bad. That's what I feel. Like, I don't know that we have pushed the line. You know what I'm saying? Like we could have. Like I'm like all the other big dogs, I run with them and I know what they doing. You know what I'm saying? I understand the science behind what they do, and we have not done 20% of that. So I don't think we pushed the line, the ethical line, if you will. But I do think we pushed the line. I was telling somebody the other day, it was funny, Sean, I was at the mall, and shout out, he know who I'm talking about because I know he listens. But he saw me in the mall and was like, yo, E, what up? I was like, what's up, bro? I see him every time I'm there. And he's a BU student. And he was like, yo, hey, I'm ready to be on the Stay Ready tour. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. He was like, no. I'm ready to be on the Stay Ready. I'm ready to be one of the speakers. And I was like, yo, bro, I know this may sound like for real. When I tell people this, they think I'm lying. Like they think I'm trying to be evasive or something. I said, oh, that don't got nothing to do with me. That's C. And he like, no, you're not hearing what I'm telling you. I'm ready to be on the tour, bro. I'm ready. And I said, no, you're not hearing what I'm telling you. I don't make that decision. Like, I'm not responsible for the three that's speaking now. And if I had my way, like, we would have never done that. So you're not hearing me. So he was like, all right, cool. I need to get with C. I'm like, yep, I need to get with C. So then he DM'd me the other day. Like, yo, I can't find none of C stuff on social media. And I'm like, there's a reason why you can't. You know what I'm saying? If he wanted to contact you, no disrespect, he'd contact you. But what I was telling a group of men was, the reason why you don't see stuff is because he's not James Harrison. Because he is on, it don't need me to have nothing because I'm pushing E. You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening to all E stuff. I'm positioning E. I could speak if I wanted to. And I'd say, you know, with the lineup we got, you know, outside of Inky, it probably ain't no real competition in terms of like he know the brand and could speak. You know, so for me, I just look at what we do have is we push the envelope on ain't no egos. We push the envelope on we want this thing bad. And I just, man, as I'm traveling across the country, Christmas, I can't tell you how many people hit me up. Can you send me $20 on Cash App? Can you send me some money? And I'm just like, yo, I'm not mad. And I asked my wife, and we were a blessing to people. But I was just like, yo, what you gonna do next month? You know what I'm saying? Like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do in February? Right, but I'm gonna have to tell you that I cash you out in January, and I can't cash you out. That's like a bank. I'm not a bank. You know. So for me, see, I think if there was one thing, like I said at the Super Bowl, that I walked away with, bump the game. I walked away with like, yo, on every level, we have to get this organization to a place where everybody like wants it as bad as they want to breathe. And if we could do that, and for those of you who are listening, if you and your wife could get on that, both of y'all want it as bad as you want to breathe, if you can get on that with your children, if you could get that, whatever, I'm telling you, man, to me, see, that's the recipe for success.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I want to talk, speaking of a recipe for success, Sean, we want to talk today. I wanted to kind of talk, because it's the holiday season. And I showed you on my phone kind of before we got this thing started, and the word was anxiety. And I think, the crazy thing is, like, the holidays come with like some extreme highs, right? Like, everything that's good about people. He talked about, people, holding doors for you and saying Merry Christmas and speaking in the mall. And, it's funny because you had just preached that, and then Candace and I were in the mall like a couple hours later, and this guy like walked past and just like sparked up a conversation and like picked some trash off the ground, threw it in the tank. We were just like, wow.
January 4th. January 4th.
There is a euphoria that you experience when you talk about, the holidays, but then there's also, this low. You know what I'm saying? Like that a lot of people experience. And, I think all of us feel it at some point, right? To certain extents. And I was looking it up, just kind of, and you know it better than me, but, looking at how many people in, the U.S. deal with depression and anxiety and all of those things. And, I guess today that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, because we're getting ready to do some really cool things on the BU platform. But I wanted to talk to you about, okay, you have these extreme highs and these lows. What do you do to get through those lows? How can people, get rid of that anxiety, right? And a lot of it, is fear, or fear of the unknown, or it could be a family situation, or, a health situation, or whatever. But how do we clear our minds of that anxiety and push forward in order to live life at its fullest? Because I think at the core, that's all we all want to do is be happy. I tell people that all the time. They're like, yo, how, you grinding, you doing this, you doing that. I'm like, yo, everything I do is in pursuit of happiness. Like, it sounds cliche, but it really is. Like, any car you buy, any house you move into, any relationship that you have or don't have, or the things you wear, anything you do is really in pursuit of happiness. And so the anxiety stands in the way of that. You know what I mean? It's hard to be happy when you're full of anxiety, full of those things. What does not only the research and things say about anxiety and how many people are affected by it, but how do we begin to work ourselves out of that if we don't want to be medicated, if we don't want to do those, like, what are some natural things that we can do to come out of that?
I think the first thing, especially on this conversation about the holidays bringing about these highs and these lows, that is an indication, first of all, of your nervous system not being able to handle that wattage of that high. And there's a residual swing back on the pendulum.
Explain that, though.
Right?
Break that down.
It's just like anything, even like building a muscle, it takes training. Like, it sounds crazy, but is your system wired up to be happy, right? Because when you feel that euphoria, there's a lot of chemical pathways that are operating. There's new synaptic connections happening in the brain, and it's a repairing process. It's a really complicated thing. And different people, like, there's a part of this that's genetic, right? Certain people get here and they have, and the research indicates that about a third of your overall happiness in life is genetic. And then we've got a nice portion that's based on your life decisions.
Oh, good. So,
and then
another portion. I'm coming off the blocks. I'm coming off the blocks with a third.
No, I'm saying that's deep.
Yeah.
I've
never heard that.
But the majority, though, is in your hands. Right. Is in your
You don't
in your
question.
environment.
But I'm just saying, you got a little start.
Yeah.
You got a little head start.
You're not starting at zero.
Or a deficit.
And so this is a big, it can get kind of a metaphysical appearance to this. It's just like, handle that wattage. Well, just to give people a visual, if you think about like an anatomy textbook, or even, on Dr. Google, and you see the human body, and you see like all the blood vessels that go throughout, it looks like wiring, right? But then we also have the nervous system that goes in accordance to that. It looks very similar. And we are a kind of a bioelectrical being, right? We don't really think about that, but like that light socket over there, if you go get a butter knife and put in there, you're gonna have a bad day because we're conductive, right? And so this nervous system literally is handling a certain kind of energy. And so with anxiety, let's talk specifically about that. It can be that very low level sense of stress and just like time's moving a little bit faster than you are, right? And it can get all the way to the other side of like extreme terror, right? And I've worked with people in all sides of this. And the important thing is understanding what is the root. And the root is, again, it's about the nervous system. So let me give everybody a heads up. The first thing that I want you to do to help to buffer and handle this wattage and to take care of your nervous system, reduce anxiety. This is so important, it's so simple. And we talked about this yesterday in the recording, is making sure you're getting enough dietary fat, all right? And now this is why. That insulation,
I think I got that covered.
Maybe
healthy fat.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
you look at this, you see that cord right there.
No
That
wonder
cord,
Santa's so happy.
there's wires inside of that cord that are conductive and they're very sensitive.
Okay.
Like if they didn't have that coating over it, if we poured water on it or it got too cold or too hot, it'd short out a lot easier. Your nervous system has an insulation, which is fat, all right?
Okay.
And so we got into this paradigm about this low fat is the end all be all diet that we should be on because of a problem with semantics, right? We hear FAT in food is gonna end up on FAT on my butt, right? But these are two different things, totally different. And so fats are insulation and number.
It's a marketing technique, basically.
Exactly.
I got
The
you.
marketers screw up
Yep.
everything. So you got your nervous system, and where does your nervous system originate is your brain.
Yep.
And guess what? Your brain is mostly fat. It's mostly fat and saturated fat specifically. All right. So that's insulation for your nervous system, so it won't be so subject to stress from your environment. So that's number one. That's the foundational piece. Number two is the tie-in. So your nervous system is reading your environment constantly and sending information through a certain part of your brain. It's called the hypothalamus. It's kind of like this master gland. And it's integrating your environment with what is producing in your body, which is hormones, all right? So that's your endocrine system, your nervous system tie-in in your brain. And it's all based on your perception, all right, is the trigger. So if you're perceiving things as stressful, even if you're not paying attention to it, you're gonna produce correlating hormones to go with it. Cortisol, adrenaline, all right? Just the perception of reality. So I want people, number one, of course, that insulation is important, but also working with your perception of the stress in your life. And just for a
if you
second.
can control the perception, you can control
Exactly.
Instantly.
Instantly. And we all know this experientially.
Yeah.
If you start to get angry, like, what are you feeling? Like the heat in your chest or whatever it might be, that's hormones, all right? You're producing certain hormones. When you feel good and euphoric, when you're in love, it's phenethylamines, all right? It's these different hormones and neurotransmitters that makes you feel that. Somebody didn't sprinkle magic fairy dust on you and make you feel that in loveness. It's something your body's producing, right? And you are in so much control to produce those things, but if you're at the mercy of what's happening in life all the time, instead of understanding, wait, I can change this, how I'm feeling. But we get so caught up in the day-to-day, the grind, trying to, especially the holidays, and just take a second to reset and recalibrate, right? To change your perception. And also, last thing I'm gonna say, and then we can switch gears a little bit, but taking the time to with that integration of your nervous system and your hormone system, it's kind of complex. But taking the time to just stop and realize even the bad stuff that happens, the negative stuff, that it's just making you better. Like changing that perception, just that little switch, like, oh, this is going on, okay. And it's a skill, because when negative things happen, we immediately jump into doom and gloom. But if you can, as quickly as you can, because my son, he broke his leg at a football game, in his last football game of the year. I fractured my rib. I was, for a solid day, which is a long time for me, I was just like, life is over. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that kind of guy. I'm a very optimistic person. But it took me about a whole day to get back to like, all right, cool. This is like a great gift. It's a blessing in disguise. It's gonna make me better. This is the result that's gonna happen. So work on changing your perception. Work on seeing the stress as a benefit, and also make sure that you're getting plenty of healthy, high quality fats. And we can talk about what those are too.
Yeah, first of all, I've learned more from Sean in 30 seconds than I learned from you two in 100 episodes. You know what I'm saying?
That's the beauty of having an expert.
That's why I'm here.
That's why you have a guru sitting here.
So yeah, let's talk about some of those facts, because I want to give Sean, and you do an excellent job on your podcast, the Model Health Show, of giving people practical things. And I think that's what makes you so dope as a health coach. Is it's not theory. You know the theory, And a lot of people who know the theory very well can't like tell you what to do today. And so with those healthy fats, what else can we be doing to reduce stress? Because I think what you're saying is we can kind of keep our bodies prepared for those moments that come. And you know, the more in shape we are, it's like, okay, when it's time to run a marathon and when you have to put that stress on your body, you can be more equipped to deal with it. So give us an example with the, you know, the good fats and also some other things, because, you know, we want to make sure our listeners have, you know, going into this new year, some practical things that they can do every day, because those stressful moments that we talk about, stay ready, your wife gets diagnosed with MS, a child gets sick, you know, those things, and maybe even just simple stuff, you know, not in simple in comparison, right? You know, the bills, you know, are behind, or, you know what I mean? Like, how do we, you know, begin to build up that muscle per se?
Yeah, that insulation, right, is that buffer so that the stress doesn't overtake you. Like, you have that little space to be able to make decisions. So that insulation, and we talked about this yesterday as well, a lot of people don't know about this. Canola oil is one of the big issues, all right? And it's something that was promoted as a healthy oil, but there was a study I just shared yesterday published in Scientific Reports found that the consumption of canola oil led to higher incidence of amyloid plaque buildup in the brain, which is the leading cause of Alzheimer's, and also a decrease in working memory. So literally reduction in your ability to learn and remember stuff, and increased incidence of Alzheimer's by consuming this oil, which is from a rapeseed, right? Canola, and it don't even sound good, right? And it's a genetically kind of manipulated plant, right?
What would you use it in? Like where?
People cook everything. Like we used to buy it and just like I cook everything in it.
I got you.
Sauteing, whatever, just regular oil, canola oil.
And now here's the reason. One of the reasons. Number one is really high in omega-6 fatty acids. So these are the essential fatty acids. There's omega-6, omega-3, omega-9. Omega-3s are the more anti-inflammatory, and these are the ones that we usually hear about. Like we need to make sure we get plenty of omega-3 fats. And the ratio of omega-3s in canola oil is very low. Omega-6 is extremely high, and it's pro-inflammatory. So it's creating inflammation in your body. And here's the issue is that, again, that study showed eating these fats changes your brain. It's because that your body's gonna absorb the fats you give it. So you're literally making your brain this insulation out of really low quality materials. All right, so we wanna avoid canola oil. We wanna avoid rancid oils and things like, you know, potato chips and that kind of thing. Now, there are companies that are doing stuff different, like making chips in like coconut oil and avocado oil. And it's not like you can't eat a chip again. I'm not that guy. Like you can eat some chips, but just be mindful, like if you're doing the chips, plus you're doing the processed crackers and you're doing this, that can really build up and your body's gonna assimilate those. So avoid those. Last thing is, and then let's talk about the do's. Like this is what you wanna go for. The popular thing today, which I did an episode on this because it's so important, there's a lot of controversy about it. Your brain is not just mostly fat, it's mostly saturated fat. The best source of that is gonna be coconut, right? Specifically coconut oil, right? Coconut oil is also antiviral, antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiparasitic. It helps your body to keep stuff out of you that shouldn't be there. It's like, if you think about it, it's kind of like an adaptogenic food. It's grown in places where there's a lot of, you know, potential parasites and issues. And humans learned a long time ago that this food can help to keep me healthy. So it's high in saturated fat, so it's very heat stable. So that, if anybody does one thing from this episode, switch over exclusively to cooking with coconut oil, because even healthy oils like olive oil is a really, really healthy oil. And if you look at the research, it's mind blowing. You see, you know, these blue zones where they have the most centenarians, people that live to be over 100 years old in the world. In these blue zones, olive oil is one of those consistent things you see. Like they're consuming sometimes a liter in like a week or two, all right? So it's like, you're supposed to be eating all that fat. What in the world?
Liter of olive oil?
Yeah,
Olive oil.
And one of the big
And
things.
what are you eating that you can get a liter of olive oil?
I mean, what they're doing too is they're not cooking with it a lot of times. It's used to like make dressings, put on bread. It's used to finish meals. So after you cook the dish, put the olive oil on top, because if you see olive oil in the store, it's like that bottle, that glass bottle. It's in dark.
She do bread. She'll make me do that.
Dark glass bottles, because it's heat sensitive and light sensitive. It photodegrades. It can make it basically rancid and turn those omega-6 oils in there into something dangerous. So coconut oil for cooking, or grass-fed butter, people can use that as high saturation. And then I usually drive people first and foremost, real whole foods first. Not even the extracts of the oils, but like eat coconut, right? Avocados, olives themselves, like the real olives, it's a fruit, you know? There's other kind of exotic fruits that are high in fat, like durian. There's a lot of different stuff that we just don't know about, because we know about like Pop-Tarts, chicken.
That's what you see.
Orange juice, you know what I'm saying? And there's so much pleasure that we have access to, but we just get caught up in the system, you know what I'm saying? So that's the key, is make sure you get plenty of these high quality fats. I want you to eat at least every meal, get you some high quality fats on your plate, all right? And there's so much variety. And I just named a few: nuts and seeds, and then their associated nut butters, cashew butter, almond butter, you know, people love that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Put a little honey with it, you know, like you can really utilize a lot of these different things and make some incredible meals.
You shop exclusively at Whole Foods. I never heard you naming some fruits I never heard of. You said durian?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a man, I don't advise durian. Let me put it like this.
Oh, okay.
My wife, I mean, some people have a flavor palette where they can, because it stinks, man. It's a stinky fruit. But some people, it's like the most amazing thing that they've ever tasted, because they have like their enzymes in their mouth just really vibe with it. So it's a fruit. It's got all these spikes, so it looks kind of dangerous.
Oh yeah,
and
I've seen that at Whole Rocks.
Yeah, I think people
Oh,
like.
yeah, I know.
I think maybe 5 people die a year from
I
durian.
thought that was a cactus.
Falling on their head or something, you know. Yeah.
For real?
So durian, and it's got these little packets of fruit. Also, another really interesting, I guess it could be considered in that category, is chocolate. Right? Chocolate is
Dark
it's basically
chocolate.
a fruit or a seed of a fruit. Yeah. Well, it's a plant called
Not
cacao.
Snickers.
Snickers, bro. I'm about to go back to eating them. I was like, why did I stop eating Snickers? And Sean said Snickers are good for me. I'm about to hit them again, Sean.
Tell your wife, don't worry, baby, it's a fruit.
It's a fruit.
The real cacao, man. I mean,
Caramel in there as well.
If we look at history, man, even thousands of years ago, like one of the greatest civilizations in recorded history that we know about is the Aztec civilization. They built the pyramids. They had astrology figured out, mathematics. There was literally segments of like major cities that use chocolate seeds, that use these little chocolate cacao nuts as currency. This was their money. There was banks, like the emperor had like a bank of like chocolate, you know, because they knew it was something special about it. And what it is that this is a food that directly influences.
Hershey did too. That's why my man blew up. Yeah.
It influences your nervous system and your endocrine system in a stronger way than a lot of other foods, right? So
What about for breakfast? What could we be getting?
For healthy fats?
Yeah.
I mean, it just really depends on, we'll go with we could do the quick way, green smoothie, right? We do the green smoothie with the frozen blueberries, some cashew butter, or I'm a fan of peanut butter. For some people, it doesn't vibe with them. And there's some issues with like fungus and that kind of thing. So just be mindful of the quality.
What kind of peanut butter?
That would be
Can we
something.
do Jif?
I was waiting for it. He just want Jif.
That ain't the real deal.
The
Listen,
reason I asked-
Jif has one of the worst fats in it. It's partially hydrogenated fat.
That's why it tastes so good.
Check this out. Have you ever seen the
Like, you
peanut
know what I'm
butter?
saying?
Have you seen the peanut butter in the store where it's got the oil on top, like almond butter?
Oh, disgusting.
All right, see, it separates, and that's just because you've never seen it before, right?
Yeah.
They hydrogenate, they expose the fats to hydrogen, which makes it like a plastic. All right? It's just a couple molecules away from being plastic. So that Jiffy, that's why it looks so,
creamy.
Yeah. So and that
Amazing.
your body, your brain, so partially hydrogenated oils are correlated, and there's tons of studies: heart disease, diabetes, cancer. All right, it's not a joke.
No more Jif, baby.
Yeah, choosy moms don't choose Jif. So we've got.
We're about to get some hate
I guess
mail
we ain't
from
getting
Jif.
no sponsors from Jif this year.
Well, still time. Sean's only doing one
Brought to you by
episode.
Organifi.
We'll just tell him Sean only doing one episode.
Be on the lookout for their new peanut butter.
So and then in the green smoothie you put lots of greens go in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it could be the spinach, the kale. Maybe throw a half a banana in there. You know, to make it creamy, smooth, a little sweetness. Protein powder.
Yep.
All right, you can throw that in there too.
I got you.
Blend it up.
So he got just cremated on the internet the other day. He gave a poor child some Mrs. Butterworth.
I saw it.
And you didn't see that? Okay, great.
Christmas.
So let me set it up for the listeners, Sean. So E,
my man sent me some dude on the internet. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So E called himself doing a good deed. And the neighbor from next door, the daughter, she came by to do breakfast with E. And E, thought he'd share this moment with the world.
I shared a great moment with Miss Buttersworth.
And so he had, they made the pancakes, and then E drenched the pancakes in Miss Butterworth. And so
I thought I did a great job. My man said I should have used, what was that?
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but in the comment section of Instagram, let's just say the health aficionados were not pleased by the hip hop preacher's choice of maple syrup. So fair or foul, E gets cremated online for trying to feed a baby maple Butterworth.
I just gave what my grandma gave me. Hey. Now, if she was 50 years old, we might have tried something else, but she's 5, so she'll be all right.
Right. Hey, listen, this is what, and the incredible people in this community who's even listening now, who's in the health space. Like, I think this is one of the reasons that makes me great at this is losing that dogmatic nature about it. Like, really, everything is okay. Of course, there's better options. Miss Butterworth got the thickness. She got the bottle. That whole thing. We know it's an icon. And it's
I never even knew it was another kind of syrup growing up.
Oh man,
I didn't know.
There's
my grandma used to give us algas, which was terrible.
Yeah,
We had mom turned me on to Miss Buttersworth. I was like, yes.
Yeah, but so what we're looking for is just syrup. It'll just say syrup on the ingredients. But with that, there's going to be preservatives and additives and that kind of thing. But again, it's just really the bigger issue, even outside of the fats, is sugar and how we're dealing with sugar and how anxiety is tied to sugar consumption. Because we know, like, literally we can get like a sugar buzz, right? It's hitting that nervous system. And if your body kind of gets wired up, depending on that
true.
sugar.
Somebody tell me that wasn't true. If you eat a lot of sugar, like you give your kids sugar and they get hyper, somebody said that's a myth.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
I saw it last week with Jesse. It ain't no myth, bro.
And also the crash, the associated crash. Like, that's a short study that you can see with how sugar impacts anxiety or energy and then the crash.
It might have been E.T. Somebody gave my baby some Oreos and some at church. She came home after church, and I'm talking about was just running through the.
I don't give my
Jesse.
candy at church.
Jordan, I understand, but Jesse's kind of laid back. She want to hug, bruh. I'm talking about she was just like, like for like an hour. I'm like, what is happening?
That's crazy.
So it's real.
Yeah, no. So to get back to it though. So all right, I got you on the foods. What else in terms of? I really want to help people nail this down for the new year. In terms of our anxiety levels, those things, how can we keep ourselves more regulated? Of course, we got to stay away from, certain foods, add some certain foods in your diet. What else do we recommend for?
Man, I'm not gonna say this is the biggest piece, but it's the most overlooked one, which is sleep deprivation. All right, this is directly, there's so many really well done studies seeing an increase in depression and anxiety from sleep deprivation. And part of the reason is when you're sleep deprived, you intrinsically have elevated levels of cortisol, which is this associated stress hormone. And it becomes like a negative feedback loop because that cortisol makes it hard to sleep as well. So it just becomes like a perpetuating problem, right? So especially during this time of year, we got a lot of stuff going on, family. And it's okay, like a spot, if you going hard for a couple of days, your body can make up that what we call sleep debt, right? But once it gets extended to where it's a longer term sleep deprivation, then we have some associated problems. And that sleep debt becomes like you owe cousin Vinny, the loan shark, and it's dangerous. So making sure that we're just, and for me and the family, like we got here and we just kind of went to bed early. And I know that's what he does, you know what I'm saying? He gets to bed early. He is waking up early, but he's getting to bed early. And we talked about this on the past. I think maybe the first episode I was on, that this is an anabolic window where you get even more benefits. Because when you go to sleep a little bit earlier and kind of lined up with the circadian rhythm of the planet, your melatonin is higher, human growth hormone production is higher, especially earlier in the evening when you go to sleep.
Yep.
So he's getting all these like youth-associated hormone production. You know, that it also makes it easier to wake up and to dominate, right? So making sure just, if you can try and eat, I'm sure what I personally do, it's scheduled, man. Like I got it, it's on my calendar. You know what I'm saying? 10 o'clock, whatever I put, that's the time. Like I'll get a notification, like it's time to shut it down, right? It's not perfect, especially if you got, you know.
Yeah, you live in a real world.
Real world, right? Stuff
But I've got it scheduled and I've got it like top of mind because I value feeling good more than I value Game of Thrones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know, especially holidays, we're gonna stay, we're gonna kick it, we're gonna have a good time. But at the same time, be mindful of paying back that sleep debt if it's small.
So I want to ask you about that because I think that's something that you hear people say all the time. Like, and my wife, you know, I think she gets enough sleep, but she can like make it up on the weekend. Like my wife can sleep in like to like 10, 10:30. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't ever seem to do that. So like if I lose my sleep like throughout the week, it's not like I can be like, all right, babe, you get up with the kids Saturday morning, I'm gonna sleep till 10:30. Like my body literally won't let me sleep that long. And so to me, how do you make up that time or you know what I mean? Like and I guess along with that, what's the science on naps? You know what I'm saying? Because I've never been a napper. And I know he can take a nap. Like he's good, like boom, 30 minutes he can re-energize. I really can't, like I have a problem with like sleeping during the day. Like I just can't even, like I can try, I could be exhausted. I tell my wife like, I'm about to go lay down, I'm taking a nap. And she'll just laugh because she's like, you're gonna be right back down here in 15 minutes because you're not gonna be able to sleep. What is the science behind making up that sleep? And then also, would you encourage people to try to catch a 30-minute nap throughout the day, or is it best to try to get that all at night?
Well, I want you to first look at sleep is like the real food and naps are like supplements, all right? And I did an entire episode on the science of naps, so people can check that. And also it was sleep tips for parents in that same episode of the Model Health Show, so you guys can throw it in the show notes. And so a lot of times when we feel a strong desire, like physiologically to nap, there might be a deficit with the sleep in the evening, you know, like your real true sleep. And that's okay, you know, a good nap is a good nap. But we want to make sure that we're optimizing this real food first, so that we're not like reliant on getting the nap in. And so with the nap, there's also some science behind how long the nap should be. Because, and what the research indicates is right around 12 minutes to 24 minutes or 90 minutes. And why this is that this is like called like the little power nap, right? The smaller segment nap. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but you take a nap and it's hard to get up, right? That's because you've gotten into a deeper sleep and it's hard to pull yourself out of it.
And don't go to sleep when it's daytime and wake up at night. You like, is it Sunday? You don't even know what day of the week it is. It's like Walking Dead.
And so that power nap, that just smaller segment, what that's clinically proven to do is to increase working memory, increase alertness, and just overall feelings of energy, right? If we get into that mid zone where we're sleeping, you know, 30 to 60 minutes, maybe even 70, we're kind of now getting into a deeper sleep and it's harder to pull your body out of it. So there's gonna be like a lag and be dragging a little bit to kind of get back into it. A longer nap of like 90 minutes, that's a complete sleep cycle, right? So you're actually getting a lot of the benefits that you would get with the whole sleep cycle while you're sleeping at night.
So either sleep 12 minutes or 90.
If you got time,
So 90 might be a little long, but maybe that's why he learned something. He knew that back in the day. I always thought these 15-minute naps he got were. Because
I'm saying that's all I needed. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing people got to realize too, Sean. It's like, you know, people ask me questions. I'm like, bro, you in your 20s. I'm almost 50. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't, what I'm doing now, you know what I'm saying? Like I think I need a little bit more sleep now than I needed even 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I find myself, you know, in the day having to, you know, like you said, hit that 30-minute boy, whereas before it was like a 5-minute. But you got a 22-year-old listening, and I think, you know, what you're saying is so important, you know, because what I would eat and what I would tell a 25-year-old to eat know what I'm saying? Metabolism is different. You know what I'm saying? Their ability to bounce back. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather said, he's not scientific like you, but he was just saying at 50, your body begins to deteriorate a lot faster than it did when you were 20 and you was 30. So he was like, yo, you need to think about raw more. And I was probably in my 30s. He wasn't telling me to go raw then, but he was like, yo, once you start getting closer to 50, I want you to go raw. I want you to work out more. You know, but when I was listening to him in my late 20s, early 30s, I was like, whatever. But I'm saying even in my body now, I know what he was talking, like I understand what he's talking about now. Like I feel, like I can work out, but I remember working out 3 times a day or twice and my joints hurting. Whereas now when I pace myself and say, we only gonna work out at this time in the morning, same time every time, like it doesn't hurt me as much. But I just realized like I can't do the stuff I did when I was 20 or 30. I can do it, but not like I did it when I was 20 and when I was 30, you know what I'm saying? So I think, yeah, for real, man, the people who are listening, like you need to listen, but then you need to also know your body.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta know, because ET, I'm wired, like you said, I'm wired with a lot of energy, you know, and I had a guy last night with metaphysics who was going over some stuff with me. He was just talking about my brain. It's like, yo, it's like you said, electricity. It's like, yo, your brain, bruh, you could see that it's just off the charts, you know, but you need to work on like your colon. You know what I'm saying? There's some stuff I can see that's building up. You need to be cautious about, you know, so I'm even on that. Like when I was in my 20s or 30s, I don't need to sit down with nobody. I don't need to talk, but now I got a naturalist, and once a year, not only my doctor, but I'm going to a naturalist because they're doing something different. My doctor is testing some stuff just on the external. He ain't really in tune with, like you said, the electronic part of me, like he ain't into that. And so I have people who are naturalists who are just like, yo, based on your DNA, you probably need to, like my man was saying, how much, it seemed like you don't drink a lot of water. And I was like, I don't. He was like, yeah, you need to, I can tell you dehydrated. You know what I'm saying? And you need to start drinking a gallon of water. I was like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, I don't drink water like that. I drink it when I work out, but not during the day. He was like, yo, E, for real, like he was like, you can argue that you 99% if you wanted to. Yeah, it's 70-some% water, but he was like, some of the other stuff is water. So he's like, if you ain't drinking water, E, the other stuff you're doing don't count. Like you need to drink more water. And I was like, I got you. So I'm just saying to our listeners, for real, listen to it. But if you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, 60s, whatever, you need to make sure that you have something that's tailor-made, you know, for you, and take this information serious.
No doubt.
Sean, we got a bunch of questions. I want to start getting into some of these.
Hold up, I want to share one more thing with the anxiety. And so I just saw this study the other day. So researchers found that regular vigorous exercise, the test subjects were 25% less likely to develop anxiety by getting regular vigorous exercise. So we're talking about like high intensity interval training, you know, even just 2 times a week is going to help to stave off that feeling, because you're increasing that wattage, like your nervous system, your endocrine system, ability to handle that stressor.
Yeah, that's real. And ever since you told me about that, I've been doing the HIIT training, and I feel that. You know what I'm saying? Like even though I'm exhausted and like your body hurts and like, yo, you do feel better though. You know what I mean? So I that one I can definitely attest to.
No doubt.
Sure.
And last one is having a meditation practice. And Medical College of Georgia found that a meditation practice directly led to lower blood pressure levels for all the patients involved. Like literally can lower your blood pressure just by doing some meditation, right? Or you could take, you know, lisinopril. You know what I'm saying? Like you have an option.
Right.
And so, and what it does, and this is, you know, in that whole conversation of anxiety, we're looking at a situation where your fight or flight, or it's called your sympathetic nervous system, is kind of on fire. Right? And it just depends on the degree of where you at. But there's that nervous system, then we have the parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest. We can literally turn this on, turn this off, just by changing your breathing, right? And one of the reasons that a lot of us feel that stress is that we're breathing really shallow. And so just by incorporating a breathing exercise practice, you don't even have to call it meditation. Just do your breathing exercises, or do your brain training is what I like to call it, where you're just sitting and doing what's called box breathing, where you breathe in deeply for 5 seconds, hold it in for 5 seconds, and then breathe out for 5 seconds, and hold it out for 5 seconds. And do maybe 5 to 10 rounds of that. It instantly changes your physiology.
Wow.
Right? So I think it's essential in today's hyper-stressed world that we
no,
all
serious.
have a meditation practice.
Yeah, and I wanted to say too, Sean, and this may be cultural, but I think that financial thing is a major,
Definitely.
stressor. And when C was talking earlier about the pursuit, I think a lot of us have to be careful because a lot of people are pursuing what other people are pursuing, and they'll discover when they get it, like they don't even want it, And so there's a lot of stress that comes from like being always behind financially, And just for me, man, one of the things I think was the biggest thing I've ever done. When I started making money, I was just like, yo, I'm not moving from my house. You know what I'm saying? And it was this, it's not real pressure, but when you're in certain industries and you're around certain people, it could be pressure. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're around people, it's almost like people who are at a certain level, when they talk, it's always like, what do you have?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's this, like, it's not loud, but for all of us, and we have to be careful because with toys, you got $100 toys, $1,000 toys, $10,000 toys, $100,000 toys, $1 million toys, $1 billion, you know what I'm saying? It's toys, and I think that there are people who live above their means and they don't even understand how living above their means is keeping that stress because it's like you constantly thinking about how am I going to take care of this? How am I going to pay this? How am I going to do this? And I think sometimes if you would just chill out for a minute, and stack your bread, because if like you're looking at whatever do, like even with cars, like I don't have a car note, you know what I'm saying? And it's just little stuff that, it's not, I'm not stressed. And if somebody's like, yeah, I need to use a vehicle, then I got a vehicle for them to use. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I traded that in because I was telling my wife, I got like a 2004 745 Li. There's a pressure though, Sean, when you have those kind of cars, people are like, what year you got? And I'm like, I got 2004. You know what I'm saying? It's running. And I'm just saying that people who get pressured by that, what year do you have? And so they always pressuring you. It's like, I got an Escalade. Okay, but what year Escalade do you have? It's like, what difference do it make? It whatever. And so that's something, man, that I've really worked on, even with Christmas. Quiet as kept, Sean. The reason why I don't do Christmas is because you talk about that energy when I'm in the mall and it's 500 people, like people think because I'm in front of people a lot that's my thing. I don't like to be around 500 people. Like that's just not my thing, So for me, my daughter wanted to buy her mom the vacuum. I intentionally went at 7:50 and the store closed at 9. And when I got in there was nobody in there. So even when I did shop, I went at a time where it wasn't a lot of people because I am mindful of, you know what I'm saying? I want to get in. I want to be able to buy what I want to buy. You know what I'm saying? I want to take my time. I want to come out. When it's a lot of people, sometimes it's people fussing, people in the lines cutting, and it's just like that negative energy. Yeah. And I'm with you. Like I don't know if it's my personality, but I feel energy. You know what I'm saying? I feel it. And so I try to put myself in a situation where even church, people will get mad at me like, why you get to church late? Because I don't like to get there early and 80 people want to talk to me and then I got to speak. Because you don't realize you're taking energy from me with some of the conversations you're having. Yeah. And I want to be so I get to church a couple minutes late when everybody's in their zone so I can just get in there, reserve my energy, get up and speak. And then afterwards, I can do whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I got to talk about this.
Oh, go for it.
Because of that feeling of other people's energy, it's not just a saying. Yeah. And this goes back to this bioelectric being that we are. So there's an organization called Heart Math, and they do some really amazing research. And there's a device, it's called a magnetoencephalograph, and they use it to measure the bioelectric energy of the human body. And they found that our largest, it's called a tube torus. It's an energy field that's projected from our body. Its largest place is directed from our heart, all right? And it's about 8 feet from the human body. You can actually see this with this device. And so when people are in your space, like even right now, we're all in each other's energy field, and it sounds like this could be a little airy-fairy, but now we have science to show this. So you really are picking up other people's energy.
Absolutely, I feel it.
So it's really important to manage that and to be mindful of that when we're talking about managing anxiety. If you're around other stressed people, it's not gonna help, But just, it's just the more that we can start to realize how powerful we are to put ourselves in the environment, to start to even change our state, that's why people want to be around you. You know what I'm saying? Because it changes their state, just being around you. But also there's some residual. They give you a couple of little crumbs too.
Yeah, and Sean, we've talked before, and if, you know, you talk about the health consequences that go from high stress, you know, just more like heart disease and, you know, even cancer and like those type of things. Like people don't realize, but like years of anxiety and stress and stuff like that. I was talking to a friend last night and he had a bunch of concerns about his job and, you know, all of this. And he ended up, you know, he ended up having a heart attack. And this guy is in fairly good shape, plays basketball 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah, but that's stress, bro.
And he said he had the heart attack like 2 weeks after he heard some news that he may be losing his job. And, you know, you got kids and they got camps and they got, you know what I mean? And so that stress and anxiety, man. And there's really, you know, life happens to everybody. And, you know, you're going to feel that stress, you're going to feel that anxiety. But what we're saying now is, and Sean is talking about, there are things you can do to prepare yourself for that and manage that so it doesn't become a detriment and you can actually use it to power you to the next thing. And so that's great. But this segment, we're going to do some questions with Sean, and it's sponsored by Organifi. I'm going to let you take it, Organifi, plug away, because
before he go, we were joking yesterday, so I was asking Sean, like, yo, Sean, for real, and for those of you that don't know, Sean is who connected us with Organifi. So I asked Sean, like, Sean, I ain't trying to be funny, but when I drink Organifi, like, for real, like, I feel more energetic. And Will was like right there, like, yo, I thought y'all was just saying that for the podcast. He was like, no, you serious? And I was like, no, I'm absolutely serious. When I drink Organifi, and CJ talks about it, but I'm telling you, you just feel better. So I was asking him yesterday, and he just, he let it off. So go, take it away, Sean. Yeah,
it's interesting that a lot of our energy,
because when I say it, they like, see, you
right, they're like, see, just playing, he playing.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's tied to micronutrients. All right, so people know about the macronutrients, right? Proteins, carbs, fat. But the micronutrients are those smaller components, the vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, enzymes, phytonutrients, all of these things that elicit programs in your body. So let me give you an example. And I talked about this one yesterday. And this is in the Breathe You course. Coming soon, guys. Let's go, get in this. But magnesium, all right? Everybody hear about magnesium, but it's responsible for over 325 processes in the body that we know about right now. 325 processes your body can't do or can't do efficiently. Many of them have to do with relaxation, energy, and it's because magnesium is tied to the energy that we experience as humans. Is something called ATP. Right? ATP is kind of our energy currency, but it's only active if it's tied to magnesium. All right, so that's how important it is for your energy. Where are you gonna find magnesium? Organifi, all right? Because of the greens that's in it, right? So this is one of the reasons people start to feel more energetic when they bring it on, because of, and they're from real whole foods, not from a magnesium synthetic supplement. That's the key. This is a cold processed concentration of superfoods like moringa, spirulina, chlorella, all right? Chlorella, chlorophyll, right? That's where it gets its name. It's most likely the most dense chlorophyll food on the planet.
And talk to me about the significance of cold process.
Cold process. So this is actually helping to retain the nutrients. And I don't want to give too much of the course away, but I talked about this in the course.
Yeah, of course.
The difference, because there's different forms of magnesium. It's not just one thing,
right?
You know. And so there's a more bioavailable version of it that you're going to get from something your genes recognize. That humans have been eating food for a long time. We haven't been consuming man-made supplements very long. Right. So is the magnesium supplement you're buying actually what your body really wants, right? And so if we can get it from cold processed foods, because when you heat it to a certain temperature, it changes, right? It can damage the construction of it, and even denature proteins and things like that. So your body really can't associate it with it the same way. All right, so Organifi, what's the code?
Success, Organifi.com, promo code success, man. Go check us out. And like I said, man, our job is to bring you the information and let you do your thing. So let's take some questions. Will, do we got any? I know you just sent me a Facebook question. We got one question on Facebook. Maybe if we got you guys out there in Facebook live world, if you want to submit questions, we're doing this live for you. So the first one comes from, shout out to Devon Morgan, who says, hey, Sean, are vitamin pills effective?
Wow, we just kind of talked about this. So
you just got to get the course, y'all.
Most companies that are doing, because I used to do this. I started with the Flintstone vitamins, all right? When I was a kid, like, And I loved it because it's like a little piece of candy or whatever, you know. And then you progress to the Centrums and to the one a day and all this stuff. But I just want you to think about this. Where did those vitamins, minerals that are in that supplement, where do they come from? They're not from food. These are synthetic. These are chemicals. All right. So this is straight laboratory made. And it's just the assumption that this vitamin C is the same type of vitamin C that your body needs. And it's just not true. And you'll find oftentimes like your body, there's a residual kind of toxicity process where you take these supplements and you go pee, and your pee is like some weird color, you know, like you literally are like pissing out what you bought, you know. But also I want you to be aware of this. I'm not saying that there's good, better, best. You know what I'm saying? Getting a multivitamin, if you got holes in your diet, so be it. The better choice is going with something like Organifi. That's a cold processed concentration of real food. To get your vitamins.
So what about though, like, you know, when people get sick and take airborne, like as soon as you feel a cough, like does that stuff work or no?
Hey, if it works for you, so be it. You know what I'm saying?
So
but
no.
I mean, how often have you like felt something coming on, you take it and it kills it? You know what I'm saying? For a lot of people, that doesn't happen. You know, and so the research indicates that vitamin C, and this is just to be straight with you guys, it works when it's proactive, when you're using it before everybody starts getting sick. It helps more with prevention than actually when you're getting sick.
Yeah, got you. All right, cool. Will, you just sent me another one. Let's see. Jennifer Merck says, do we need a quiet room for meditation? Mom of 3 here. I feel you. There are no quiet rooms at my house either, Jennifer. So would you suggest a quiet place for meditation?
There's different, listen, before I had my youngest son, it was like my wife and I, my wife's mother has been teaching medication for decades, and she's the one who really blessed me. She changed my life. And you know, I was doing this particular meditation she taught me that really changed me, man. And I did for over a year every day, but it was 32-minute meditation. Wow. He came along, that stopped. All right. And now it's more mini meditations and also I made it so that he's my meditation, like spending time with him, being present. That's called mindfulness meditation. Just paying attention to his smile, paying attention to the language that he's using, just small things like that, but more of a kind of a traditional meditation. Do you need a quiet room? If that works for you, yes. Or you can grab yourself some headphones, put them on or something, like, you know, he's checking out his Ninjago over there, and put your headphones on, turn on some meditation music or app or what we got in Breathe You for them.
Don't tell him yet.
So we could, you know, throw the headphones on and just create that quiet space for yourself. You know, you can do this anytime, anywhere.
Charlie in Boston said, hey, Sean, love your podcast. Been following you for some time. He said, I've been trying to eat less processed food, so I've been replacing all my snacks with fruits, berries, oranges, bananas, tomatoes, etc. Can this cause issue with my sugar levels, though?
Yes.
Eating too much fruit.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. In many ways, your body doesn't care whether it's a Snickers or a banana, right? And actually, there's some research indicating that a banana can elevate your blood sugar more than a Snickers. Right. It depends on you and your unique metabolism. I know that sounds crazy.
It is crazy.
But a banana, a true indigenous
your
banana.
Snickers is making a comeback. Your Snickers,
they making
a comeback.
We'll talk after.
A true indigenous banana actually has seeds in it. Today, and you remember like there were these little black duds. Some of them don't even have those.
We grew them in Barbados in my backyard. Yeah, whole different fruit.
So today. And a lot of people know this, even your fancy organic bananas, they cannot reproduce in nature on their own. They don't have seeds anymore. They have to have human intervention, all right? So, and also the bananas that we know, there's a potential, I don't want to get too much into this, but they can be extinct very soon because there's a fungus that's developing that's taking them out. So, and it's because they don't have resilience now because they've been so cultivated and sheltered. And now they've been bred to be very easy to consume and to be very sweet, right? So that hits your bloodstream, that can, you know, put you out of balance, and high glycemic leads to higher production of insulin, which insulin is your body's #1 fat storing hormone. So just be mindful of that, but it doesn't mean you can't have a banana. Just it would be a good idea to have it with some fat or some protein, you know, banana in a smoothie, that kind of thing. But just straight eating bananas might not be the best idea. it depends on you and your goals and your unique metabolism. You know, all of this stuff, like he said, it's really based on you. Some folks can have a banana or two a day. Some half a banana is
Yeah, and I can't wait in the BU course and on the calls and stuff, and we'll tell you guys what we got going on. I want you to really break it down for parents, you know, and feeding their kids, you know what I mean? Because I know there's different, you know, things that kids needs as opposed. So we'll get into that. I see a lot of people asking that question. We'll get into that in the course. Kyle in Chicago said, "Hey, Sean, I'm thinking of going vegan this year. What are the common mistakes people make when deciding to go vegan?"
Oh man, and everything that I talk about, this is from personal experience as well. I've worked with thousands of people in a one-on-one context clinically, and you know, it affected millions of people at this point. But that firsthand experience is nothing like it. And so I spent a stint of 5 years vegan, 3 years raw food. I did Mediterranean, I did Atkins, I did paleo, I did ketogenic. You name it, I've done it. And I don't just do it for a week. All right, I'll like literally do it for a year, at least a few months, just to see what happens. I don't play around with my body that much like I used to, because you know, you can mess yourself up too. And so the vegan pitfalls, number one, and this is real simple, is being a carboholic. All right, once you pull out the animal protein, in your body, your genes expect you, like you've evolved from hunter-gatherer traits. So that meat has been there, a part of your indigenous diet, your ancestral diet for literally hundreds of thousands of years in this current form of humanity. And so when you pull that out, you need to plug it with something. Now I want you to keep this in mind too. We don't have any records of any human civilization ever being vegan. So it's a new experiment. So keep that in mind. It's not saying it can't work, but just keep that in mind, that we want to pay attention to even the cultures that consume a lot more plants. They still might have 5% animal products. Maybe that's important, you know? So I don't want you to come into this with a dogmatic idea that it's this way or no way and hurt yourself, right? So with that said, you want to make sure that you're meeting your protein needs with high quality protein sources. For me, when I came in the game, we was eating tofurkey, right? This big processed ball of soy.
Ball of sodium, that's what it is.
Listen, man, soy.
Salt ball.
Like, man, I did some of my first articles that I ever wrote were on soy because it was just so problematic. And it's just like, well, these long-lived cultures eat soy, like, you know, in China, Okinawa. It's like a condiment, though. It's like a condiment.
Yeah, for sure.
We got soy dogs, soy ice cream, soy milk, just on and on. That's not natural. These are heavily processed foods.
Yeah.
And soy contains, and it's one of the highest estrogen, phytoestrogen containing foods in the world. So phytoestrogens, that sounds like estrogen. It attaches to estrogen receptor sites in your body. This can lead to, for women, estrogen-related cancers. It just even like an 8-ounce glass of soy milk is like the equivalent of like 2 or 3 birth control pills. All right.
Whoa. And
we're feeding this, you know, to our babies, putting it in infant formula. Soy is one of the dominant things used as protein. It's dangerous, and we're seeing the results in our culture, right? So I don't want to get to doom and gloom. Bottom line,
I got you.
We want to eat.
The information is critical, man.
We want to eat more real, whole food, not a processed soy thing. So what are some of those for the vegan? My favorite that was kind of my go-to, because it's a complete protein. This is the key, guys. It's a complete protein, and that means that it has all the essential amino acids. This means the human body needs it from the diet. Is hemp seeds, all right? So hemp seeds, again, humans been consuming this for thousands of years. The United States in many ways was even built on hemp, like New Hampshire. The Declaration of Independence was written on hemp paper. Right? But then there's like some stuff with the paper industry. I'm not gonna get into conspiracies, but it just kind of disappeared. Now it's made this resurgence. Number one, complete protein. It's also almost the right ratio for the human body with omega-6 to omega-3s in one little packet. There's also chlorophyll. There's like little green parts to it as well. It's rich in magnesium, zinc, all these different microminerals. So take the hulled hemp seeds, you can sprinkle them on salad. Get hemp seed butter, you could add it to your smoothies, that kind of thing. There's hemp protein, obviously. So that's one way to go. Also, just your green leafy vegetables. You gotta make sure you do that in a big way, making sure you're getting high quality fats, the avocados, all the stuff we talked about. And with the protein, last one I'll throw in here is spirulina. And this is stuff that you'll find in Organifi. Spirulina is 71% protein by weight. So that's the highest protein food in the planet. But I'm not saying it's enough, but make sure that you're adding a little bit of that in there. Mix it in some guacamole, smoothie, that kind of thing.
Got you. Kim in Pensacola said, what's the most underrated weight loss technique?
Sleep.
I like it. I think, is white bread, this is from Mia, is white bread, brown rice better for you than white, right? Is wheat bread, sorry, I can't read it. Wheat bread.
Is wheat bread
better for you than white bread?
Now, we all would think, right? And I was taught this in a university setting that, if it's white, it ain't right. If it's brown, we down. And so I was taught this kind of weird perception about bread, rice, pasta, all these things. So my wife would tell you, when our first like get together, I had to come over to the house. I made some brown pasta, some spaghetti with some brown rice noodles. She didn't tell me till 10 years later that it was terrible. I made myself acclimated to it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, but it's because of my university teaching, which I was talking about this yesterday too, the miseducation of Sean Stevenson, man. Because at the end of the day, cultures long before our ancestors figured this stuff out, man. If you look at cultures that eat rice, right? We think about Asian cultures, India, my wife being from Africa, they weren't eating brown rice.
Right.
They're eating white rice. Why would they do that? And me being this, like, I'm thinking I'm the, healthiest guy, just like, I'll be at the restaurant like, why they if they only had brown rice, we'd be straight. They figured out thousands of years ago that there's a potential gut irritant in the bran or in the casing of that rice. And so it can lead to autoimmune conditions. And how this happens, so let's stick specifically with the bread. And when we look at bread, that brown it's containing something called lectins. I'm trying to make this real simple. So these lectins are these compounds that when they get into the human gut, 100% of people tested, 100%, it causes the body to release something called zonulin, all right? Now zonulin starts to pull apart, it can open up this semi-permeable gut lining and open up and make those pockets bigger. And so things that shouldn't get into your body, because if it's in your stomach, it's not really exactly in your body, because it's like a tube from your mouth to your anus. And your gut determines what's gonna become you, what's gonna get in. And so it starts to loosen up that guard. The guards like go off duty and stuff can get into your system that shouldn't be there. And your immune system, this is why we can still eat waffles and we're still straight.
My guard's been off duty for way too long. Y'all need to get y'all ace back to work. You know what I'm saying? All kinds of stuff.
They're better than what they were 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But so the immune system will jump on it, right? Like these foreign compounds, just say you eat, a chicken and waffle, right? So now whole protein chains, instead of getting broken down in your gut into amino acids, that's what your body really needs. You don't need protein.
Right.
You need amino acids. These are the building blocks of protein. And once it gets into your body as a whole protein structure, immune system's gonna attack it because it looks like a pathogen, all right? And so your immune system will take it out. Good, we're cool, we can eat the chicken and waffles. Not so, because your immune system is also hyper intelligent in its training. Once it sees this protein structure, maybe it's amino acid AABB is a structure, and it takes it out, but now it's scanning your body and it sees your thyroid tissue has that same structure, AABB. So your immune system will start destroying your own thyroid. Oh, wow. That's Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And it was caused by bread, all right, wheat bread, all right? So keep this in mind. Now, again, not doom and gloom. It's same thing. It could be your rheumatoid arthritis if it's attacking your joints, your ligaments. It could be heart disease. It's largely related. There's an autoimmune component to a lot of these things. So it just depends on your genetic predisposition.
You heard it, folks. Go back to Wonder Bread. All right. You know what I'm saying?
Let me put a bow on this one. All right. So, and I grew up, of course, like Bunny Bread, the Wonder Bread.
Oh, no doubt.
And
you could just squeeze it and just form it like
that ball.
Clay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And so my grandfather, man, he would straight get the he would get the white bread, the Wonder Bread, put peanut butter, Jiffy, all right, with the partially hydrogenated on there, and then put the Miss Buttersworth on there.
Yeah, grandpa was hydrogenated.
He would just sit there,
syrup and peanut butter.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what E fed his neighbor.
It's not peanut butter.
Last week.
It's the same meal he just had.
So we get peanut butter and jelly. I never heard nobody. Or honey.
Syrup.
Yeah, I never heard of syrup before.
Yeah, I mean, he do it like a steak,
syrup
man.
sandwich?
He do it like a steak.
I'm saying a syrup sandwich,
peanut
but I never
butter.
heard of peanut butter.
Yeah.
And
I'm
syrup.
saying,
It
same
was one or
context
the
though.
other.
Now you need a mean glass of milk if you're gonna eat
fancy.
peanut butter and syrup,
Right.
because there's
I never
nothing
heard of it.
offsetting that.
that's
I'm
next
talking
level.
about it's right here live for about 6 years. What do you do for a large syrup sandwich, Sean?
And Sean too, and I mean, I know we don't have time for this, but it just, I don't know if it's because of process, but it's like, you know, back in the day, you know, my grandfather didn't worry about any of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He lived a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look at my
Yeah, because
grandma.
remember we said it though. Back then they wasn't putting all that foolishness.
Yeah, and I
in
guess
food.
that's what it is
You know
now.
what I'm
Why?
saying?
Why now? That's the thing. It's like, why is all of a sudden people gluten sensitive? Right. Why is this
Yeah.
whole phenomenon happening? And number one, this is because of the industry. We're not consuming the same grains that our ancestors consumed. You know, not the biblical type. We're using it's a genetically modified dwarf wheat. Right. Einkorn is the particular strain. I believe it's einkorn, but it's a genetically modified dwarf wheat that's very easy to mow down in the process. But also now it's less resilient to infection because plants are trying to protect themselves too. That's why the lectins are in there to hurt you from over consuming it. So they've been ramping up their lectin content, but also we're using a lot more treatment, pesticides and fungicides. All of that stuff can be making you sick too. You know, so it's not just the fact of don't eat bread because of eating bread's sake. If this is something you're gonna do, this is something to make sure you go for the highest quality. Maybe some sprouted grains for some people that might still have problems. Also, sourdough, right? Ancestors like cultures in like the air. I think it was what's that country? Eritrea by Ethiopia. Eritrea. So no disrespect to anybody listening from Eritrea, but you know, I had a friend there. They talk about the fermentation of the bread. What's the fermented bread that from the So they were fermented because that gets rid of a lot of those kind of secondhand enzyme inhibitors and lectins. So like sourdough, you can still have bread, all right, but you probably just for general pull that out, replace it with some sweet potatoes, replace it with some some rice and. You know, the bread is a complicated
I had some
subject.
Hawaiian rolls the other day that was insane. That's
you
where
had
you
to
got
go
it.
there?
I was like, this got to be
You had
bad.
to-
for
you
me.
know it's bad.
I'm talking about
You
it was
can
so
eat that
good,
bread
and
by
I ate a
itself.
sweet potato on top of it. So it was a.
Did you put the butter on it?
I put the butter
one.
on. I put it was the Hawaiian roll butter with a sweet potato on top.
Yeah, but I'm saying you got the sweet potato.
Oh,
It should balance out something.
Right.
Say you
It
wouldn't
should
have got the
balance
sweet
it
potato.
way to look on the bright side.
Yeah.
Last question, real quick, and for you, Sean, and we'll move on. What do you think about turmeric in your diet? And that's from Mary Keel on Facebook. Thanks for watching, Mary.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is something again, thousands of years of history. Specifically, we think about curry, India. Surprisingly, they have a really low rate of cancer compared to other countries in the world. All right, they do have, they do their thing with diabetes because there's a lot of sugar in the diet, but turmeric has a lot of anti-angiogenic properties. All right, so that means that anti-angiogenic means that tumor cells need to get fed to grow. So there's like a blood supply, and they create pathways for it to get fed. Anti-angiogenesis basically breaks apart those channels for tumors to get fed. All right, so it's anti-cancer, bottom line. So turmeric's anti-cancer. Also, tons of studies showing its anti-inflammatory properties. Curcumin is the kind of active ingredient we think about with that. So to help to reduce inflammation, to help to protect your body against cancer, reducing stress, there's associations with that. So turmeric's awesome.
So would you suggest a supplement to?
You can do that. You can do that. Organifi has a turmeric supplement.
Yeah, I got it.
But
I got
here's
I
what
didn't want to say it. I got it. Organifi.com.
I just had it this morning.
Promo code success.
And what they do, they actually add it with, because there's something beautiful about nature, is that it's something called phytonutrient combining. So it's not just a turmeric. When you combine it with the kind of active ingredient in pepper, black pepper specifically, it helps to increase the absorption and activity that it does in your body. All right, so they have the black pepper in there as well. And so I would, you could add it to food. We do that all the time. We add curry to everything. I even put curry into the scrambled eggs or something like that, So you can use that as food. You can juice turmeric along with some other stuff. You can get it in that way, supplemental form. It's all good. Just different ways, give your body some variety.
Sean, All right, so you got folks, man, who are listening, who are like, yo, for real, I eat a burger because it's $1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like flat out. You know, carbs is cheap. You know what I'm saying? What would you say to people who, just for real, like you said, let's talk cost. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing the vegan diet, right? I'm paying my cousin, you know what I'm saying, a nice bit a month. You know what I'm saying? She just dropping everything off. You know, so when you talk turmeric, when you talk all that, she putting all that, I don't have to do nothing. But there are people out there who, for real, bro, they like own that. I want to do better, but the Wonder Bread is 98 cents. You know what I'm saying?
For a big loaf.
Yeah, for a big loaf. You know what I'm saying? And the Jiffy peanut butter is right around there, and it's $2. And you know, so what's the like little small steps people who are barely making ends meet?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What are some of the steps that they can take in terms of diet? We talked about exercise. You don't need no money to do that. Meditation. You don't need no bread to do that. But to change your diet, and I just say that because I know for me, I was working out, but I wasn't really seeing no real results until I changed my diet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm saying there's people out there that's like, yo, I want to change my diet, but I just, the dollar menu is just really working for us financially right now.
Hey, I mean, prior to, you know, me getting my life together, you know, when I was sick dealing with this so-called incurable spinal condition, I would go to get the 2 for $99 cheeseburgers because it was like, this is gonna fill me up, right? It was all about just trying to get full off the meal, you know, going to get the Chinese food, $2, I can get the whole order pork fried rice with no onion, extra egg, you know what I'm saying?
Still remember that.
Crab ragoons. So I would do that because I would do that because of that whole concept of like, all this other stuff is just too much money. And so number one, it was a change in my priorities, right? So I realized that the best investment is myself. So I'm gonna make this back in kind. So I used to, you know, I was spending money that I barely had to get better food, and it changed me. You know, like it literally changed the information, because food isn't just food, it's information that was coming into my body. And funny enough, like those same, like I'd buy these goji berries, right? This is 15 years ago before they was hot. And I'd order these from these random companies. And then I ended up, and this is a true story, a year later, those companies sponsor me or send me all this free stuff, you know, when I was broke. And now, you know what I'm saying, it came back to me because of the investment in myself. Number one, I want to make that clear. Do you guys have Aldi's here?
We do.
So Aldi's now.
Yeah,
we got
Aldi's
Aldi's
here. Right.
So
He
Aldi's,
wouldn't know. This is a little lower end.
Aldi's is like,
They don't sell that kind of water you're drinking at all. You know what I'm saying? He's like, Aldi?
I'm sure, Sean, it must be like in the back corner somewhere. It ain't on Saginaw.
Oh, no, it is. It is.
It's one on Saginaw. There was one on the south side.
Yeah, he wouldn't know. This is poor people problem. He wouldn't know nothing about it. I've been there several times.
It's the one that don't do bags.
Yeah.
They don't do bags.
You
gotta pay for your cart too.
Yeah, he a long way from them stories he used to tell us about walking 10 miles to school.
Right. Man, so I grew up when I was living with my mom. We mainly shopped at Aldi's and save a lot. And
Another
I'm
one
bringing.
you've never heard.
Well, my wife used to work at Save a Lot when she was 16. But we weren't eating there though.
So the reason I bring it up is that we're changing culture right now. And so Aldi's even has organic food. All right, you can even get some organic options there for the low. All right, and it's because the market is demanding it. And so keep that in mind. This isn't like, oh, woe is me, there's no options.
Right.
You can even go to Aldi's and get some stuff. But here's the thing. A lot of times real food is less expensive if you do it the right way. So you can go to Aldi's, you can go to a farmer's market. And when you're at a farmer's market, you get even, you know, they got deals. You know, like, and this is a true story. You know, we went to a farmer's market and I spent like $5 on like 3 bunches of kale, right? 3 of the bunches together. It was $4 for one at Whole Foods, right? So I got twice as much, right?
Amazon got their prices down though, I heard.
Yeah, Amazon, and you can do things with Amazon, the Shop and Save
Yeah, see, I ain't on that. still going to the store thing. So I got to start.
That's the thing. And we also have Thrive Market.
He has
as
a
well.
private chef.
What you shopping for?
Well, I'm shopping too, like in water. You know, I got to go get my own water.
There's Thrive Market as well. They're like the kind of Costco version of Whole Foods online. And I kick myself every time I end up paying something. They have stuff at 25 to 50% off because they had this same thing. And every membership, if you get a membership, they give one a low income family for free. All right, 25 to 50% off the prices you find in Whole Foods. Sure. But this is more of like, things that are, like packaged goods, snack bars for the kids, personal care items. They got some stuff, like jarred stuff, like, sauces and things like that. They got a pretty good variety. They got vegan options, paleo, gluten-free. That's thrivemarket.com/model health. So Thrive Market, I love those guys. They're just doing really good work. So you got that option. You've got, farmers market CSAs, right? So this is community agriculture where everybody invests and you get so much food, man. But the thing is you don't get to pick, all right? It's like whatever was grown, you get a box of that, you go. But that also adds into another layer of health, which is what nature is giving you at this time of year. Finding creative ways to use that. You know what I'm saying? There's tons of options, man. We can go on, we can do a whole show just on this. And I have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But where there's a will, there's 10,000.
Yeah, that's what I want to help people, man, because for real.
For sure.
Tia tell you, I just know when I start eating better, I start working out more. Like for real, when I wasn't eating right, I was like, ain't no need of me, I'm just being real, ain't no need of me running 3 miles if I'm about to hit a cheeseburger. Like, it don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? For real, it don't make sense. And I realized when I started eating right, for real, I was just like, I'm not about to just, I'm not about to, you know what I'm saying?
Change your life.
Yeah. But let's talk about the Snickers though afterwards, because it sounds like it might be a little window, the mini Snickers though. We'll start there, Sean.
One of the things we talked about, is the information. And Sean, man, seriously, we joke a lot. Thank you for the information, and it's I call you. You could tell them. I call you off script, and I'm like, yo, Sean, check this out. Just because I need that information, but the information, the motivation, and the accountability. And that's probably why I'm most excited. This, like, for real, this is one of the best things that we've ever done, starting in the new year. That's why Sean's here. That's why he's on camera with us. He brought his family. He's up here recording content for Breathe University. We're starting off the year, the first 30 days, with the Fight the Fat Challenge. And we are encouraging our members. We want our community to be the healthiest community in the world, right? We want our people to understand, the value of health, the value of exercise, mental health as well. We just talked about that. That's why we wanted to talk about that. So we're doing a Fight the Fat Challenge, also a mental health challenge for the first 30 days, all right? And it is incredible what we've been able to come up with. Sean is here, and I'll let you tell them about a bit of the curriculum that you created and the coursework that's going to be available to them, as well as what we've done with the nutrition course, the sleep course. We have the meal prep, the HIIT workouts. We have the journal, the spiritual development course, guys. E has done some sermons specifically designed for this, the gifts sermons that he's been doing, where we're going to be going over just some mental health stuff, learning how to use and operate in your gift. Also the meditations. We have meditations that we've been working on for the last, I don't know how many months, but they sound incredible. Shout out to Chuck, who's doing our meditations. We're going to be giving those to you on Monday morning and Friday morning. So as you talked about, you can throw them in your headphones, and they're incredible, man. I've been listening to them for the last, seriously, 6 months. Jamie's been working to score and put the music behind them, and they just sound incredible. And we're offering all of this to you guys for our members already. Congratulations. You're starting this with us January 1. But for those of you out there who have been wanting to, be a part of something, want to be a part of what we got going on, it was $200 originally. We marked it down to $100. All right, for $100, you don't have to stay in. You don't have to sign up long term. There's no year commitment. That first 30 days, we are going to help you get your life on track with your health and fitness goals, as well as your mental health goals. And we've done that through information, motivation, and accountability, guys. And I'm not just saying that. We literally have what I believe to be, and I've listened to a ton of people do their thing, the #1 health guru. And you guys heard some stuff here, and that isn't even the tip of the iceberg. There's other things we want to talk about in terms of organic, getting our family right. I want to ask you about your family exercise routine. You guys looking at his family right here. Beautiful, in shape family, all of them. And so we have the #1 health guru who does calls. Like, you guys can talk to Sean, right? This isn't just you sit there and listen to him talk. You can ask him questions. You can write in your questions. We have the coursework that I'm going to let him tell you about. Then we also have the #1 motivator in the world, right? ET is going to have these videos designed specifically for you. We're going to be on the line talking about our health goals, our mental health goals, all of those things. ET will be on the line teaching that stuff throughout. So you have your information, your motivation, and finally the accountability of 3,000 to 4,000 other people in the community who are doing it, who are posting their challenges. Listen, we're trying to lose 20,000 pounds as a group, right? If there's 4,000 of us, 5 pounds a piece, however it ends up working out through the month of January, we want to be able to lose 20,000 pounds, right? And we want to be able to bring this awareness to communities, to people all over the world. And so if you've ever thought about joining us, now is the time, right? January 1, let's get this thing off to a fast start. Let's hold each other accountable. You got all the information and motivation you're going to need. People, Carl, they're posting. We're having, places where you can upload your weight goals, and you don't even have to upload your weight goals, what you want to lose, how you want to lose it, and people hold you accountable, guys. And if you have the information, the motivation, and the accountability, I promise you that is the trifecta that you need to go to that next level and really take it to that next level. So go to breatheuniversity.com right now, right? It's $100. Plain and simple. Like I said, no long commitment, but go to breatheuniversity.com right now. And January 1, we are rocking. I'm so excited. We have course materials. Shout out to Rochelle.
I was gonna say, we get all the complaints like males, and I thought I was like, we got TJ, we got LD, we got a bunch of dudes that can come in here and work out. I was like, no, kill it. I need Rochelle.
We got Rochelle, and for you guys, I forgot to tell you what I got my wife, but I got my wife another personal coach. She did a coaching with Rochelle. Her health is just on a whole nother level. She loves it so much so to where he and I called Rochelle the other night on three-way, and I was like, yo, for Christmas, I want to get my wife another one-on-one. So Rochelle is just incredible.
She lives it.
But in a very tangible way. That's what I love about what we do. It's not, this extreme, run up a mountain for 30 days straight. Like, you really give practical solutions that can help people live a better life. And that's what this is about, that mental and physical health, man. If we can get people on that next level, and we are proud to say that Breathe University, that's what we live in our community. You've seen the example from E and I and our weight loss and going to the next level. Carl with his challenge and what he's been doing. And so we want to bring that to you guys. Again, breatheuniversity.com. Log in, go there right now, sign up. It's $100. That's it. You know what I mean? After your 100 is over, you either stay with us or you go. It is your choice, but we want to get you started in the right way. Sean, if you could quickly talk about, the information you are going to provide. And I don't say this lightly, but I want to thank you because we don't partner. We don't have guests on the podcast. We've said that before. But this is the first time we've ever, built the partnership on the health side. Of course, shout out to Rob, we got on the financial side. But we keep a small, tight-knit family. And you're part of that family now. And officially, you've come up, and you and Carl have been spending the last few days in the studio just recording coursework that's going to take people to the next level with their health and fitness. So talk to us a bit about the coursework and what they can expect to get from signing up with us over the next few days.
Yeah, definitely. Man, this is just so powerful, man, because your health influences every decision you make, and so what we wanted to do was, no matter where you are on your health mission, to give you some tools, tips, and strategies to get you where you want to be. And so what we just got done yesterday was really the Nutrition 101, right? But it's a master class, right? This isn't the stuff, this is like beyond university level training as far as the value, but the understanding, the assimilation is for everybody. Everybody's gonna be able to get it. Everybody's gonna be able to pull something from it. So no matter if you feel like you're an aficionado and you've been doing your thing with the health, you're gonna pull some nuggets from there that you can use yourself or to serve other people. Because this isn't just about us too. Right. We gotta keep that in mind. A lot of people in Breathe University are about service and giving to other people. So if it's ours, it's yours, So everything that you learn from me, you're gonna be able to pay it forward. And so, and also if you're just getting started, or if you got like a lot of questions and just, there's a lot of misinformation out there, I've went through and I put in work to distill down the very best information, and also to break through all the myths. So we're not just talking about, oh, this sounds good, but actually this is clinically proven here, right? And cutting edge research. So that's what you can look forward to. Also, we've got a master class on how to optimize your sleep coming up as well, that we're gonna be trickling out. And you know, I have an international best-selling book on the subject matter, but we're gonna take it to another level.
Great read. I've been giving that to people as gifts, man. And
man, it's crazy, man. People every day, you know, they tag me in little pictures, like seeing in the bookstores, and it's translated and it's getting close to 20 languages now. You know, because it's a time for that. You know, it's like people are paying attention to how valuable it is. But I'm not saying sleep more. Right? We're going to talk about how to sleep better, so you actually wake up feeling good. You know, and so what are the most powerful, effective strategies to do that? So you don't have to turn your whole world upside down just to feel good. All right, so you're going to find that, and we're just going to be adding more. We're going to focus on the fitness mastery. We're going to talk about that eventually as well. We're going to talk about emotional intelligence, social intelligence, and how to cultivate that, because it's all an inner game at the end of the day. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of workout you have if you're not gonna do it. You know, so we're gonna really crack some codes, man. We're gonna share a lot of valuable stuff. But people get in right now, they're gonna be getting that.
So you're listening to this, man. Sign up right now. Get going with us. The information, the motivation, and the accountability from the community. It's gonna be incredible. Sean, again, man, it's always great having you. I say it all the time, but we got to have you on more often. I would love to have you on like once every 4 episodes, because there's so many questions, like even that I have, you know, with a growing family and young kids, and you know, you've studied all of that, and so let them know where to find you. They probably know, but for anybody who just picked up the podcast for the first time today and is just now, you know, been under a rock and getting used to what you're doing now, tell them where to find you, tell them where to go listen to the podcast, tell them everything they need to know. For
sure. So right where you're listening to this amazing podcast, you can find me as The Model Health Show. The Model Health Show. And you can go to themodelhealthshow.com. That's where we got videos of every episode, got resources, books, we got articles, all kinds of good stuff over there as well.
Great stuff, man.
And
archive
my social there too.
What show are you on now?
What number? How many?
Oh man, right around 270, man. We're putting in work. And each of these episodes is a master class, you know, on the subject matter, you know what I'm saying? So you could check out the Model Health Show, and also, of course, pop over, get involved in Breathe You, because we're gonna build something really special. It's already amazing. But it's just, we're gonna take it to a whole nother level.
I told you, everything you can imagine. So again, man, thank you. BreatheUniversity.com, guys, join us. We are gonna lose 20,000 pounds together, all right? It's a community effort, and that's how we hold each other accountable, and that's how we go to that next level. So we look forward to seeing you over there. E.T., close us out with a nugget of the day, man, so we can all get busy.
Man, Sean, I was so caught up. I ain't even have I promise you, man. So consume, I ain't have a nugget of the day. You got a nugget of the day?
The floor is yours, man.
Come on.
Well, I have to. I'll record one.
Tell them listen to Sean.
All right, listen to Sean. That's the nugget for the day.
Carl, go for it. You got the.
I'm just saying, I'll record one, Will, for the end of the show. But I was in learning mode, so I wasn't. My mind was somewhere else. So
I got you. See, so I was driving literally a couple of days ago, and I saw a bird. It was weird. The bird flew across the front of my car. And I was like, why of all the space you're flying like here where it's dangerous? And I think what we're doing here is trying to tell people, stop flying here. Like, stop flying here when you know you could be, I'm talking about you got the world, you got the sky, like you got all that. But honestly, what we're trying to give you is like access to the health information, access to, I'm talking about everything that to get you to stop flying here and fly here. So seriously, like, it's no need for you to be at this level. There's no need. We just said it's a simple decisions that you can make now. Like I was teasing Sean yesterday, he was doing the videos, and like he'd stop, like give me a second and drink water. I'm like, nah, show them you drinking water. It's a simple decision you can make. Eat pouring water every couple seconds. There's simple things you can make to stop flying here, y'all. So that's the challenge. Like, starting 2018, we're gonna stop flying here and we're gonna move up. So.
I might have Carl doing my nuggets.
Yeah, Carl need to start doing the nuggets of the day. But honestly, guys, when C said the accountability part, like I don't know if you really get it. But there are, like, I don't care how deep you are, you only have so many hours in a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd only do so much. And so even with, you know, Sean talking to us about drinking water in a glass and not, you know, in a
plastic
bottle. You know, when you first said it, I was like, yo, bro, I'm just gonna be real. Like, it's just too much. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be real. I'm just gonna die. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna die anyway. So at some point, I just gotta stop. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just so much you could do. And that was my thought when you said it. Was like, yo, I feel you, but like one more thing. Like I've been trying my hardest, and I got one more thing I gotta do. But because we had that conversation, it was weird. I researched it, and at least was like, all right, I heard what he said. Does it cost more? Can I get it from Walmart? Because if I just can't scoop it from Walmart, then we made a call about the big, whatever, it was like $100. I was like, I don't know about $100. I don't know. I'm like, I'm good on that. You know, and then a young lady, some kind of way, you talk energy. And I just was putting it out to my wife, like, well, we're not gonna stress ourselves out, because Sean was like, it's better, but drink water. Like, don't get so caught up that you own glass, that you don't even drink water at all. Just drink what you have. But a lady from my church came and was like, yo, Horrocks got these in the back, and they was on sale for $1, and I bought y'all like 40 of them. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, bet. And so from that, I just was like, okay, I can start this at Horrocks. It's where I go. So I just want to show people like, yo, for real, a lot of y'all doing it alone, and you're trying to do everything by yourself, and that's overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? But when you get around, you know, people who are gurus at what they do, then it makes it easier for you, because
and
now
our community, man, they wrap you in. When you come in to be you, you not if you get in there, they're gonna show you that love. They're gonna embrace you. You know, they're gonna help you. They're gonna, you know, message you the whole nine, man. So excited about that. I'm super pumped to see this challenge, man. And
hey, I don't know that I got a lot that I can lose.
Yeah, no. You just lose one. I'm gonna lose 10.
I
So
got
that
you.
go our
Balance
5.
out.
Yeah,
there it is.
But no, man, seriously, thank you, Sean. Thank you to your beautiful family for coming,
appreciate you
hanging
having
out
me,
with us in E's basement. You see, we got a little baby LA Fitness back there. But no, I appreciate everybody listening, man. We will be back with another episode next week. We'll see you on January 1st to help us get this 20,000 pounds lost. We love you. We'll see you next week.
I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You make this, you concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity with all your might, with all your soul.